Maloney in his 9th season, 3 Big East championships, and the 2nd winningest coach ever at Syracuse. Had this series kind of rejuvenated last year. Syracuse wanted the big house, 38-28. Michigan would like to repay. We're ready to kick. Nate Trout has it teed up at the 35. Cato June, number 2, along. Is ready to receive. And a high kick. Jones at the 5. Jones with a nice return. Up to the 19, maybe at the 20-yard line. So that's where Michigan will start their first offensive series. A 16-yard return. The quarterback for the Wolverines, he wears number 10. Tom Brady, a senior, making his 16th consecutive start. He's guided this team to 2-0. He shared time, as Ed talked about, with Drew Henson.
Really had a nice start to the season. There's a little bit of a controversy with Drew Henson behind him. He shrugged that off, and our conversation said he learned a lot from the Brian Greasy Scott Driesbach situation 2 years ago.
Completes 69% of his passes, 1st and 10, Michigan, and they go on the ground. Anthony Thomas, big hole, and rumbles near the 31-yard line. Knocked out by Quentin Harris. Let's check out the rest of that Michigan offense behind Brady, and he's got some talent. Anthony Thomas at the tailback, Shea, Marcus Knight, Terrell, and Thompson the tight end. Up front, it's a big line. Backus, Hutchinson, the All-American, Frazier at center, along with Atkins and Mask.
And you just saw right there, off the left side, Anthony Thomas went over Backus and Hutchinson, both juniors. They have 52 starts between them, both very good on that left side. We had offsetting penalties to start the game, so.
James McConaughey, tonight's referee. This crew, Ed, consists of 4 from the Big East and 3 from the Big Ten.
But you will start to see the Michigan offensive line. They took a challenge this week. They're only averaging 128 yards rushing a game. That's not good enough for Michigan. That left side of that line. Watch them all night.
Michigan will spread it out with 4 wideouts. Anthony Thomas near side, alone back. Brady, 4-step drop, throws to Thomas near sideline, reaches out near the first down marker at the 38. Ian McIntosh made the tackle. Let's check out that orange defense. And for Syracuse, Pettijohn, very, very fast at the left end. Simpkins, Downing, and Dinkins. Linebackers, a very good threesome. Greenwood, Bullock, and Banks. And the defensive backs include Allen, McIntosh, Harris, and the track man, David Bird.
And the Orangemen have Bullock back.
3 plays, 3 times that Anthony Thomas said he has carried the football short of the first down, knocked down by Vernon Banks.
Keith Bullock was in on the tackle as well. Bullock sat out last week's game against Central Michigan, a suspension. He got into some drunk driving trouble back in February. The school decided to sit him down. Luckily for him, against Central Michigan, not against Michigan. But Bullock, the heart and soul of this defense. When we were talking to Chris Rippon, the new defensive coordinator, he said we really missed Bullock. But it was interesting, Craig, when we talked to him, he said he learned a lot about football when he sat out last week. He got to look from the outside in, became more mature.
First down, Michigan. Just over the 40-yard line. So 2 back-to-back first downs, and it's been all Anthony Thomas, the big 6'2", 225-pound junior, averaging 112.5 yards a game.
And Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator for Michigan, comes out of the ring for the play before. Anthony Thomas was out as a wide receiver.
They double up the far side on first down. Brady, good protection, swings it out to the flat. Again, it's Thomas. And the big man rumbles out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
You're going to see about a 15-yard face mask penalty. Morlon Greenwood over there on the tackle got up around high on Anthony Thomas. And it looked like he brought him down by the face mask.
Well, Ed, Morlon Greenwood, he was a state wrestling champ back in high school at the 215-pound level, so I guess he was put in one of those holes.
Yeah, but as a wrestler, Craig, you're supposed to shoot a single leg, not go for the head. Now, these are the things you don't need at home against a team like Michigan. You can already hear the crowd start to quiet down because Michigan moving the ball. This was a very good offensive play. Greenwood in good position, but he goes high. There's no way you're going to tackle Anthony Thomas high consistently. Paul Pasqualoni knows as an ex-linebacker himself, you got to go low on a guy who's that strong.
Terrell and Walker line up near side. 5th play of the drive, and for the 5th time,
and there it is.
It's Anthony Thomas.
And that's how you tackle Anthony Thomas. There's Keith Bullock, the middle linebacker, the leader of this defense. Had 26 consecutive starts before he was suspended last week, but this time goes nice and low. Anthony Thomas is too powerful of back to hit him up high. You got to take his legs out from underneath him.
Last week against Rice, Anthony Thomas with 21 carries and 87 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He is, as you can tell here on this opening drive, the offensive workhorse for Michigan. 2nd down and 8. Play action this time. Brady, good protection, goes to the far sideline, and it's incomplete down inside the 25-yard line. The intended receiver is a Syracuse product, Marquise Walker. And oh, how did Syracuse want this young man to come and put on the orange?
But give all the credit to the Michigan offensive line. Marquise Walker ran a drag route all the way across the field. Tom Brady had all day to stand in there and watch him go across. He checked his first option, his second. Marquise Walker was the 3rd, going all the way across the field. Great job up front by Michigan.
3rd down and 8. 3 wide receivers set. As you look at Tom Brady, he'll stand in the shotgun. Knight is the motion man. Brady steps out of the pocket, looks, fires down the middle, throws into coverage and incomplete.
I would say that was coverage, Craig.
Willie Ford, number 15, one of 3 Orangemen, back there to bat that ball down.
Good pressure by Syracuse up front. They got Brady out of the pocket. Sets his feet nice, but a bad throw, and at the very end there, number 98, Ricky Simpkins, gets a hold of that ankle. Doesn't look like Brady's hurt, but that was not a good throw by Tom Brady. There were 3 guys from Syracuse back there on coverage.
53-yard attempt. Henson will hold. Epstein will kick. And now whistles on the field.
Got a timeout, Syracuse. Some confusion on who should be in. Spotwood was back deep.
So Syracuse calls timeout. We'll be back with the field goal attempt.
This season, he missed a 51-yarder earlier in the year.
A 53-yard attempt. Good snap. Hold is down. Syracuse football at the 44.
It looks to be number 90, Eric Downing, in the middle. Longer kicks. Typically, the kickers have a tendency to really drive the ball, not get enough air underneath of it, and that's the case here. Good push in the middle. The ball blocked immediately. Not tipped, driven right back into Epstein. Just didn't get enough air under that ball. Great push in the middle. Great push in the middle by Syracuse. It did look like number 90, Downing, who got it. Pasqualoni, known for his special teams, has a special teams coordinator. One of the only Division I schools that has that is Paul Pasqualoni in Syracuse.
And over the years, it has paid off time and time again. 1st and 10, Syracuse, their first offensive set of the night. And flags are down.
Well, you don't want to start with a delay of game. I know it's a quick turnaround, but once you get your guys, you know what's happening. You got to get them on, call the play on the sideline, and get them out there to run it.
Had a great talk with Coach Pasqualoni yesterday, as we did with Lloyd Carr. Both very intense coaches. They know the importance of this game. The quarterback tonight, redshirt freshman Troy Nunes. 6'1", 182. And you look at his numbers last week, Ed, 8 of 13, 170 yards, and what's impressive is he kept his cool, 3 touchdowns.
Man, he looked great in the pocket. Paul Pasqualoni yesterday, when we talked to him, said we've been trying to get a guy who will stay in the pocket, keep his shoulders square. We may have finally found that with Troy Nunes. I don't think he was complaining, however, about McNabb.
No, no. From the shotgun, Sedano and D. Brown join him in the backfield. On 1st and 15, This one goes out to Spotwood. Check that, D. Brown, actually the ball carrier. Todd Howard, number 3, made the tackle. You look at the backs and receivers, D. Brown, Sedano, Pat Woodcock, he is fast. Quentin Spotwood and the tight end Brominski. Up front, it's Banowitz, O'Donnell, Bowen, Burton, and Pilon.
Banowitz, the left tackle, very light on his feet. If you want to see a textbook kick slide by a tackle, watch number 59, the left tackle.
James Mungro, number 23, has checked in. 4 wide receivers, play action, watch out of the backside. They get it away, and it's a nice catch pulled down by Spotwood inside the 40 to the 39-yard line.
Referee called it complete, threw the sandbag to show that Spotwood fumbled.
Here's that Wolverine defense. Williams, Renas, and Wilson up front. Renas, the 5th-year senior. Brooks, Gold, Jones, and Hall are your 4 linebackers, and the defensive backs include Whitley, Hendricks, Patman, and Todd Howard.
So much depth for Michigan at the linebacker spot. They have about 9 guys who you'll see lined up at linebacker.
From the eye, Mungro goes in motion, 3rd down. Nunes. Again, the patience, the quick feet. To the 34-yard line, 1st down, Orange. Ian Gold able to chase him down.
Here's what you got to look at if you want to be a quarterback. Watch how he stays square to the line of scrimmage, still looks downfield. The pocket begins to collapse, keeps the left hand on the ball. Nothing there. Now I tuck it. Very good job by Nunes of tucking that ball up under and shows some of those quicks. A lot of people thought he was going to be more of a pocket-type passer, and he is, but he does have the athletic ability. A lot of Division I schools recruited him as just an athlete, not as a quarterback, but that's why he ended up at Syracuse.
1st down, Syracuse from the Michigan 34-yard line. Mungro, maybe a couple to the 33. Mungro, a superb high school athlete back in Pennsylvania. Well, you talk about his numbers, over 8,400 yards rushing.
It was great when we were talking to Pascalone yesterday. He said, here's a guy came in from high school, never had to block for anybody. So we got here, he said, you mean I got to block? I got to pick up blitzing linebackers? So Pascalone told him, look, do all the other things, then we'll let you carry the ball. And he's getting a lot better at that. 3
wideouts to the far side. D. Brown in motion. 2nd down and 9. Blitz. Nunes stumbles and falls back at the 43. And Grady Brooks opened up the door. Boy, he came running through.
Well, young quarterback, the one thing Michigan said they were going to do is blitz him so that he has to make reads. Grady Brooks is unblocked coming from the outside because Syracuse emptied the backfield. We saw D. Brown come out to the left side. That time Brooks unblocked, comes in, gets his 1st sack of the season. But Nunes has to be able to read that, and him and the receiver on the side of the blitz have to do what's called sight adjust, meaning that the receiver changes his route when he sees that blitz coming.
Brooks, only a junior out of Dallas, Texas. 3rd down, 19. Syracuse going with a shotgun. This time through the hands of Nunes. He's in trouble. Behind the deck, and Nunes covers up back at the 35-yard line.
Center. It looked like a good snap, just went through the hands of Nunes. A lot of heat on that snap, but it did hit Nunes right in the hand. As a former center myself, shotgun snap's one of the hardest things to do when you know the other team is bringing heat. You try to get it back there quick, but that time Bowens put too much heat on the ball, although Nunes should have been able to handle it.
Mike Schaefer back to kick. A good hanger. Marcus Knight. At the 18, a 43-yard kick, and Knight loses 4, and we'll step aside. 9:34 to go, opening quarter here in Syracuse. 34 remaining here at the Carrier Dome, Michigan and Syracuse.
Not a very good start for Syracuse offensively. Made a lot of mistakes. They had some things open, made a couple of plays, and then things started going backwards for them.
Aaron Shea, number 36, the motion man. They're going to pitch it. Anthony Thomas, a little bit of a lane. That's all he needs. Turns and pulls his way down to the 26-yard line. Oh, so strong at 225 pounds. Out of Woodfield, Louisiana.
And there's number 33, Keith Bullock. Yesterday when we talked to him, he said, I got a huge chip on my shoulder. Right there in the middle of your screen is 33. Runs great. He's a big guy, about 6'5", plays off the cut block by the offensive lineman, scrapes over the top, even though it's a 5-yard gain. That is excellent middle linebacker play from Keith Bullock. Said he had a chip on his shoulder, didn't get to play. He doesn't think this program gets enough respect.
Thomas now with 4 carries, 19 yards in the early going. Brady wants a throw. Guess who? Thomas. Close to the first down. He'll pin on the mark at the 32-yard line. Anthony Thomas out of Winfield, Louisiana, only a junior.
Now, here's one of the problems for Michigan. This guy has been their entire offense the whole season, including tonight. If you're Syracuse, you got to start keying on this guy. Against Notre Dame, Michigan ran the ball 33 times. That man right there ran it 32 of those 33. As this season wears on, he may start to get worn out.
Well, they've got hopes for Walter Cross. They've got hopes for DJ Askew. Pitch again. He has just been a bull down to the 35. Let's go back to New York and Tim Brando.
After losses to both Florida State and Texas A&M, Louisiana Tech goes on the road to Alabama. They beat them 2 years ago there. And look at this. Brian Stallworth in for the injured All-American Tim Rattay to his favorite target, Sean Cangelosi. The extra point by Kevin Bond gives them a 29-28 win over Bama.
It's amazing. A lot of upsets early in this season. A couple of them happening today. That is huge. La Tech over Alabama.
Right now, Michigan and Syracuse in a battle here at the Carrier Dome. Second down. And to the 40-yard line goes Walter Cross. So Anthony Thomas gets a breather.
He needed a breather.
One play. At one play's plenty.
Hey, that's enough. You know, he comes to the sideline. Lloyd says, hey, catch your breath quickly because you're only going to be out one play.
Cross a pretty good product, though, at over 200 pounds, only his 8th carry, and that's what he does. He comes in about every 8th or 9th play and gives Anthony Thomas a breather. 2 wide receivers to the near side on 3rd down and short. Thomas, close. Hit by Ricky Simpkins.
Thomas had a great start to his career as a freshman, then kind of went through that injury period. Claims to be 100% healthy now. It looks like he is. But if you saw the Notre Dame game, we had it at the open of the game, his balance is incredible. That run he had to the outside where he put his hand down and got into the end zone. Plays low to the ground. He's 6'2", so he's not a short guy at running back, but incredible balance, keeps his legs moving.
And went on to win that game against Notre Dame. Reverse. Coming around the corner is Terrell. He's got speed. Finds the seam. Breaks it at the 45 to the 44 of Syracuse. Vernon Banks able to knock him out.
Now, if you are David Terrell, you go back to the huddle and you thank Tom Brady. Hands off to Thomas. Brady rolling to the left and gets a cut block right there on Simpkins. That allows Terrell to get around the corner. This is an exciting player. They talk, the name Charles Woodson comes up when they talk about David Terrell. Wants to play some defense. Did against Notre Dame because of a couple injuries, but has that breakaway speed. The Michigan coaches very hesitant, though, because they want him to become more efficient on offense.
They had a 15-yard gain, and you talk about him wanting to be the Deion Sanders of sorts. Charles Woodson.
They like to talk about Charles Woodson in Michigan.
You know, but he's got the stats to back it up in high school. A tremendous defensive back. Had 30 career picks in high school. Of course, making the jump to Division I is a little bit different, but yet this guy has tremendous speed.
David Byrd was shooken up on the play. He's now coming to the sideline. He's one of the DBs that Syracuse cannot lose. Missed the 97 season. He ran track. Had to earn his way back on the team. Paul Pasqualoni made him work the entire summer with the football team back in the summer of 97. He did that, but Coach P cannot afford to lose a DB of the quality of David Byrd.
Well, Troy Oliver replaces him, number 3 at the right corner. Michigan now with 6 first downs compared to just 1 for Syracuse. Brady, nice throw right in the money. And he hooks up with Marquise Walker, as I mentioned before, out of Syracuse, New York. Played at Henniger High School. And Ed, they wanted this young man here so bad, Paul Pasqualoni, that they sent the big guy over to his house to talk to him. And when you talk big guy, you're talking about Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, a lot of guys went and talked to him. And, of course, he comes back. You heard a little bit of a boo from the crowd. They remember that Marquise Walker left Syracuse to go to Michigan. But he heard the maize and blue call, and you can't fault the guy for wanting to play for Michigan.
On the pitch, Thomas.
Well, that's how you tackle him.
But, you know, he will dish out to hit.
Well, initial contact was at about the 39-yard line, and he falls forward to the 36. But give a lot of credit to Will Allen, 5'11", 182. You got a guy 6'2", 225 coming at you. But earlier in the game, we saw a couple of guys try to go high. Do not go high. You've got to get underneath his legs. Good tackle by Will Allen out on the. He's the fourth corner. He's got to come up. He's the last line of defense. Good job by Will.
Carrier Dome crowd on their feet. 3rd down and 2. Thomas now 7 carries for 25 yards. 9th play of this drive. Movement, flags.
Looked like the left tackle, Backus, was the one who jumped a little bit. Pettijohn snuck into the neutral zone.
And Ed, that brings up a conversation I wanted to have. You played in domes. This Carrier Dome is well known for its high volume. How much is that play a factor?
Very good question, Craig. And here's the problem with Backus. He's all the way out at left tackle. I played center, so the quarterback's basically screaming in my ear. Even in domes like this, it was hard to hear him. So imagine moving 7 feet out to the left tackle. He can't hear, so he has to kind of use the corner of his eye to watch the ball at times. That time he saw the movement of Pettijohn and started backing up. That's a big penalty as they move down the field.
But when you go to the silent count?
Pretty soon. And in the shotgun like they are now, there will be a silent count.
3 wide receivers. 3rd down and 8. Brady pedals back. Blitz, throws it, incomplete. What's the call? Yep. Oh, what a heavy rush by Duke Pettijohn from his left end. Downing was there.
You're going to see a defensive line stunt on the left side. You've got Pettijohn out here. The defensive lineman Downing goes here. Pettijohn comes around on the inside. The key to this play, Simpkins takes the right guard and drives him into the turf. Nobody home to pick up Pettijohn. A textbook stunt by the defensive line of Syracuse.
Spotwood back to receive the kick of Sargent. Off his left foot. Takes a Michigan bounce. And they'll mark it at the 13-yard line. So you do not want Spotwood with an opportunity to return a punt. Scoreless at the Carrier Dome. 4:50 to go in the first quarter. Welcome back to the Carrier Dome. Michigan and Syracuse in a scoreless tie here in the opening quarter. Boy, a strong defensive stand by the Orange, and then a fine punt. Spotwood unable to get his hands on the football, and he's dangerous at every time he touches the football.
Now the offense needs to get a drive. Syracuse's defense has been on the field too much in the first quarter.
Nunes is the quarterback. Woodcock in motion. They try to bang it right up the middle. That's a tough task against a very big front of Michigan. Good look at Troy Nunes, 65% completion rate in gold. They call him the Gold Rush. Lost his hat.
He's got to get that thing strapped down a little tighter. He was born to play at the University of Michigan. And I mean that literally. He was born at the University of Michigan Hospital. I don't think he had a choice but to don the maize and gold.
He's a running back, turned linebacker. He just likes to dish it out. Bottom line. Kyle Johnson, D. Brown in the Syracuse backfield. 2nd down, 9. Nunes, he can run, throws it across the grain. Spotwood, incomplete. Tough catch, had to go back behind him on the hip. Nearly pulled it down, but good defense by Michigan.
A little bit of a dangerous throw by Nunes. Anytime someone's rolling to their right, really tough to throw it back to the field, but you saw his arm strength. Little guy, he's gained almost 30 pounds, Nunes has, since he came to Syracuse. Was 159 pounds. He's all the way up to 187. He's got good arm strength, but a little dangerous that time. Good coverage by Todd Howard for Michigan.
Syracuse spreads the field. 3rd down and 9. 3 wideouts, and again from the shotgun. Remember what happened last time. Good snap. Heavy rush. Steps up his Nunes over the middle. Incomplete. Took a one-hopper at the 31. And begging for the pick is Tommy Hendricks, but the officials right on site say no.
Not a great throw, but again, you saw the pocket presence of Troy Nunes. As it started to collapse, he doesn't tuck and run. He stays square, keeps his left hand on the ball. That's the key, Craig, because if you do get hit from behind and you don't have 2 hands on the ball, 50% of the time that's going to be a fumble.
Marcus Knight at midfield. Back to receive the kick for Mike Schaefer. Watched him yesterday really boom him inside this building. Tremendous hang time. Driven down and into the turf by J.R. Johnson. They love this young kid.
Chris Rippon, who is the new defensive coordinator, was the special teams coordinator last year, talked about J.R. Johnson and said if he can stay focused, he could be the best special teams player we have ever had at Syracuse. They've had some great ones. Form tackle, kept his head up, started to break down. Watch his feet as he gets down towards the guy who catches the ball. He starts to spread him out, gets his helmet to the side. It gets no better than that.
And Ed Rippon went on to say this young guy could be our next impact player. He banks up Banks at the linebacker spot, and he is a dandy. Michigan back on offense, 1st and 10 from the 43. Thomas, not much. In fact, he's going to lose a couple.
What great coverage by Syracuse downfield. Again, the offensive line of Michigan winning up front, giving him plenty of time, but there was nowhere to go.
Greenwood in on the stop.
Big boys in there meeting. They have to start to get some offense moving. Some things just not quite clicking for them. They can't be on the bench a whole lot more, Craig, because Michigan up front so strong, and they pound Anthony Thomas at you. If that offensive line stays on the sideline, the defense of the Orangemen is going to start to wear out.
Terrell and Walker, 2 wide outs to the far side. Handoff right up the middle. Nice step. Cuts it outside as Thomas at the 50. This time, Allen went up high, couldn't drag him down. And Anthony Thomas on second effort rumbles down to the 43-yard line.
Aaron Shea, the senior linebacker, 6'5", 250, lined up behind the left tackle. Gets a great job, great block on number 46, Vernon Banks. Here is the speed and the stiff arm of Anthony Thomas. Gets around Will Allen. When I was playing in the NFL, Craig, we had a running backs coach at Arizona that if you didn't give a stiff arm right there, he finds you $100. Great stiff arm by Anthony Thomas, gained him an extra 6 yards.
Aaron Shea, the long back, going deep, got a man. Stumbles incomplete down inside the 10-yard line.
Came up like, hey, I caught it. The official said, yeah, you may have caught it, but you were out of bounds.
Well, do you want to have the best tailgate party in the lot? Get free shipping and all your favorite gear, grills, chairs, flags, and more? Well, why don't you log on to cbs.sportsline.com and on America Online, enter the keyword CBS Sportsline.
Couple of big plays, excuse me, Greg. Couple of big plays by Anthony Thomas, but this Orangeman defense really playing fairly well. They've had great coverage down the field so far.
2nd down, 10. Thomas, decked. Taken down by Donald Dinkins, and what a great story Dinkins is. Suffered a very serious knee injury midway through last season, rehabbed with his good buddy Spotwood, and he is back.
Lined up over the right tackle, Williams just gets outside the block. Great upfield rush by Dinkins, showing no ill effects from that left knee surgery. Actually, his injury was worse than Quentin Spotwood's. They pushed each other in the rehab room during the offseason. Both of them say they pushed each other, but Spotwood said there's no question I got outworked by Donald Dinkins.
And the greatest part of that story, they did not know each other that well. Now they're the best of friends. 4 wideouts on 3rd down and 3. Long ball again. Brady down the sideline. Marquise Walker incomplete. Will Hunter back on coverage, and that's going to force a 4th down.
A little bit of pressure on Tom Brady towards the end of the play. Pettijohn kind of made it move up. He couldn't set his feet. Let that ball fly a little bit, but Walker has a step on Will Hunter. If that ball is delivered on the money, that's 6 for Michigan.
Spotwood back at the 10. Sargent will punt, and the left footer puts it way up.
That's a great kick, Craig.
Fair catch. Spotwood at the 19-yard line. 26-yard pooch kick and a good hang time, at least nearly 5 seconds. Well, Monday on CBS, get your motor running for a wild season premiere. Kevin James, Leah Remy, and Jerry Stiller are back and riding high on the season premiere of The King of Queens. That's Monday at 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network.
Get your motor running.
He's got to learn how to ride a motorcycle before he hurts himself.
New quarterback, Medee Williams, number 17 for Syracuse. They go to the option. Spotwood taken down at the 14.
When we talked to the coaches of Syracuse, they said it was a 2-to-1 system. 2 series for Nunes, 1 series for Medee Williams. Medee doesn't quite like that system, doesn't think he can get into enough of a rhythm. Last week against Central Michigan, found a nice rhythm. He's the more option-type quarterback. Already on the first play, he runs the option for no gain. Good tackle by Hendricks. But Medee Williams, when we met him, Craig, very impressive physically. Nunes has struggled so far tonight, so we'll see what Medee Williams does.
We'll look at the total yards. Michigan with 85, Syracuse minus 12. From the eye, play action, a dart, contact, no flags, incomplete, down around the 21-yard line. Todd Howard on the coverage.
As the flag goes down in the area of holding. That ball thrown a tad behind the receiver, Todd Howard, who's played a really good game so far for Michigan. Syracuse lost a ton of guys off last year's squad, and if nobody, especially Paul Pasqualoni, will ever forget these 3 guys: Donovan McNabb, Rob Conrad, the big fullback, and Kevin Johnson. And last year, they accounted for almost all of the offense for Syracuse. All of these guys collecting nice paychecks in the NFL these days, and deservedly so.
Well, McNabb, of course, Philadelphia. Penalty decline. Conrad with Jimmy Johnson of the Dolphins, and Johnson with the Cleveland Browns.
And Jimmy Johnson, a big fan of Rob Conrad. Went to Denver last Monday night, put a whooping on the Broncos, and Rob Conrad really doing a nice job blocking out of the backfield. Kind of new for him. Ran the ball a little more here at Syracuse than blocked.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down. Medee Williams from the shotgun, pedals back 3 steps. Kentucky man relax. A little bit late on the decision, and he's taken down at the 16 by Deonnie Jones.
And here is a zone blitz by Michigan on that one, and we've designed on the Sun America virtual playbook how this zone blitz works. A 3-4 defense allows you to bring the linebackers and the nose guard back into coverage. Linebackers will fake like they're coming in the middle. The nose guard will hit the center and then back out into coverage. The defensive end slant inside. Linebackers come from the outside and get to the quarterback. Good job by Michigan on the 3rd down.
Schaefer with the end over end kick. Knight at the 46. Taken down. Boy, quick was Willie Ford on special teams. Caught him from behind, a 40-yard kick and a 1-yard return.
What a great job by Syracuse, what are called their bullets. The 2 guys who line up wide on the punt team. Michigan might want to start double teaming 45 Johnson and 15 Ford, because they are making things very rough on Marcus Knight. That time it was Willie Ford. Remember, before, J.R. Johnson had the great tackle.
And give credit to Schaefer, who had good hang time to allow those 2 bullet guys to get downfield. Scoreless, final seconds of the first quarter ticking down. Drew Henson now in the ball game for Michigan. They're going to pitch it to the near side and pass midfield to the 48-yard line.
And this is the pattern that Lloyd Carr and Stan Parrish's quarterback coach told us they were following. Realizing it's still the first quarter, but the first quarter is going to end here very quickly. So they get Drew Henson on the field. That's the pattern. Now the question becomes, will they stay with that when they go to the Wisconsin Big Ten next week?
Shea was the ball carrier. That's the end of the first quarter. We're scoreless at the Carrier Dome. We'll return to Syracuse after this message and a word from your local station. Back inside the Carrier Dome as we start the second quarter. Michigan and Syracuse scoreless. And Drew Henson, 6'4", 218-pound sophomore.
It's amazing the score is 0-0. Syracuse on offense doing nothing but going backwards.
Anthony Thomas had a big hole and a big run, but he was stopped right in his tracks at the 49-yard line.
Drew Henson, everyone knows his story with the New York Yankees, third baseman in their minor leagues, but had a better week last week than he did against Notre Dame. He's got a very strong arm, but what I've noticed in watching film on Drew, guys with strong arms tend to float the ball a little bit, throw the ball high. Needs to get that strong arm under control, a little more accuracy.
Anthony Thomas now 10 carries for 40 yards and a whistle. Syracuse will call a timeout.
in our conversations. In our conversations with Lloyd Carr, he talked about 2 quarterbacks. He's sticking with what he said to us, that he'll keep doing it.
Why do people love squirrels but hate rats? They're both rodents, and yet the squirrel is tolerated, downright beloved. Why?
Tom Brady and Drew Henson have shared quarterback duties, but head coach Lloyd Carr says there is no quarterback controversy at Michigan.
Well, I think we have 2 great quarterbacks. And what we're going to do is continue to look at this thing and see what best fits our team. I feel extremely confident in both guys. I think they both bring a lot to our team. I think it's a strength of our team. So I spend a lot more time worrying about other things than I do the quarterback situation.
Good problem to have for Lloyd Carr, but the one thing that can start to happen if you leave Drew Henson for an entire quarter, your true starting quarterback, Tom Brady, get a little stiff standing over there.
Well, Paul Pasqualone's got the same situation on the other side of the bench. Henson under pressure throws. Incomplete. Well, I'd say Syracuse can really pinch the corners. Pettijohn came in, number 49.
Great way to put it, pinch the corners. Watch on the left tackle, a great jump off the ball Pettijohn gets, and the lead, he gets double teamed by Backus and Thomas, but he got such a great jump, and the body lean, incredible, nice job by Pettijohn.
Well, the kick, fair catch, signaled by Spotwood, and he downs it at the 25-yard line. So Syracuse in a scoreless battle with Michigan will have it back on offense. 24-yard kick and no return. We'll take a break. 4:13 to go in the half. Along with Ed Cunningham, scoreless here at the Dome. And Ed, question is, how surprised are you? Because very, very effective offenses. Syracuse averaging 41 points a game, Michigan at 31.5.
Well, both offenses are sharing mistakes. You got Syracuse going backwards, bad snaps and penalties. Michigan cannot stop on 3rd down the pass rush of Syracuse. So really, it's the offenses that are hurting themselves. But give some credit to defense. Both defensive backfields have played well so far.
Nunes back in at quarterback for Syracuse. 4 wide receiver set, goes back, sets up, tucks, and then is buried under a sea of white. Boy, 94, Eric Wilson coming up off the pile.
Once again, it's the defensive line stunt that gets to the quarterback. Earlier, we saw Pettijohn from Syracuse run the loop underneath. That time, it was Michigan on the left side of their defensive line ran a defensive line stump and got to Nunes. Nunes looked like he was running the quarterback draw, but the defensive end was right in his face when he went to take off.
And we talked about the offense being shut down tonight, but give some credit to the defense because, again, Syracuse in their first 2 games, they've allowed less than 10 points a game, while Michigan has allowed just under 13. Play action, Nunes again, chase, escapes, and then throws downfield. Incomplete at the 40.
Was that number 11 or number 5 at quarterback for Syracuse?
Well, Brominski nearly pulled it down. The tight end, number 87, a big guy at 6'5", but just couldn't quite hang on.
You know, looking at Nunes, you didn't think he had this kind of athletic ability. You got Josh Williams on the outside. Tommy Hendricks comes from his strong safety spot, and then he throws a ball right on the money. But again, it's Todd Howard. That's 3 great plays by Howard to knock passes away in this ball game early. A nice game so far by Mr. Howard.
Total yards so far, Michigan on the plus side with 90, and Syracuse still minus 19 yards. Nunes again, the play fake, throws it up, and that one's up for grabs. Picked. James Whitley. And Michigan with another turnover. That's 7. They're plus 7 on the turnover ratio. They have yet to commit a turnover offensively, and now on the defensive side, they get their 7th turnover of the season.
First interception thrown by Nunes so far this year, and just not a good throw. He was looking for Malik Campbell. Overthrew him. Whitley there on coverage. Had help from the safety so he could cheat it just a little bit. Just an over-the-shoulder catch. And Nunes with his first interception on the year. That's a ball that he would like to have back. He just didn't need to throw it. On the season, Michigan plus 7. They are tied for first nationally, and Syracuse giving the ball away. That was a big one by Nunes.
Henson, the quarterback, good protection, runs, throws, fires to the far side. Catches pulled down inside the 30.
What a great job by David Terrell. This is the thing the Michigan offensive coaches were talking about. They needed him to mature on offense before they can allow him to play defense. As Terrell runs his post route and he sees that Henson is in trouble, gets inside of David Byrd, gets the safety, number 29, spun around, running with him, and then he flattens it out. See how he starts going back to the quarterback there? What great heads-up offensive play by David Terrell. You see your quarterback in motion, start working back towards him.
30-yard gain. They pitch it out to Anthony Thomas, and the big fella bulls again past the 25. They'll mark him at the 24. Taken down by Will Allen. I tell you, Terrell is a big play guy. That's his 5th reception over 20 yards this season. And Michigan, after a scoreless first quarter now, beginning to make a move, knocking on that Syracuse door at the 25-yard line.
But again, going back to David Terrell, he's only a second-year sophomore, played as a true freshman. So those are the things as you mature as a Division I football player you have to learn. And that was a spectacular job by him working back towards the quarterback.
Knight and Terrell, the two wideouts. Thomas, the lone back. Handoff, pick up the middle. And a touchdown-saving tackle around the shoelaces of the 19-yard line by Ian McIntosh.
You ready for the C's to part, Craig? We'll take a look at this from the end zone. Hey, listen, Harris is a great running back, but from the defensive linemen just spread. The linebackers go to the outside and get out of the way because here comes number 32, Anthony Thomas. And if Ian McIntosh doesn't get a piece of his right knee, that'd be 6 for Michigan.
Thomas now with 69 yards. Syracuse with -21. Thomas out by himself, 69. And flags are down.
By nearly 100 yards.
Now you look at the frustration of Paul Pasqualoni.
And really very lucky Paul is to be tied at zeros with 11:37 to go in the half, because Michigan has moved the ball a little bit. They haven't been spectacular on offense either, but Syracuse offense really struggling.
There's James McConaughey.
Dead ball. Ball start. On the outside. 5-yard penalty.
Lloyd Carr is hot.
The reason Lloyd Carr is hot is when the defensive linemen jump into the neutral zone, if the offensive lineman directly in front of the guy who jumps at him flinches, it's a defensive offside. The guy on either side of where the defensive linemen come in can flinch to protect themselves. Lloyd Carr has a legitimate beef with that call.
3rd down and 6. Carrier Dome crowd standing tall. From the shotgun is Henson. Thomas the back. All day to throw. Knight incomplete on the far sideline. Marcus Knight unable to get the foot down, and good coverage by McIntosh, the strong safety.
Henson had told us one of his best attributes is accuracy. Oh, Greg, that's a catch. You can't throw that ball any better. The toe was dragging by Marcus Knight when he caught it. A tough call for the official in real time. Obviously, we have slow motion. But what a great throw there by Drew Henson.
Well, the guys in stripes are huddling. Here's McConaughey.
Sideline warning on the offense.
Lloyd Carr and his coaches and players getting up in the officials' faces. The officials want them to back off. I said Drew Henson was accurate because I forgot that, excuse me, Tom Brady, I forgot Drew Henson was in. That was a fantastic throw by Drew Henson.
Ed, I think it's safe to say if this was the National Football League, that would be under review at this particular time.
Well, no, it wouldn't, because you have to have 2 feet in.
True. Thank you. 41-yard field goal attempt by Delverne. Good placement. Kick is up. And from 41, Michigan breaks the drought. Delverne makes it 3-0. We'll come back to the Dome at Syracuse after this.
You can buy a Gateway Essential PC for $899. Or you can buy a PC from a bargain basement company for $499. Then add a monitor, lots of software, 24/7 tech support, a year on the internet, and end up paying over $1,200. With Gateway, you'll get all that, and you still end up paying $899. Which one's the real bargain? Call 1-800-GATEWAY for a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor.
Back at the Carrier Dome.
Take a look at
Cool zone is on.
Take a look at Marcus Knight and why it was a catch. You have to look at both of his feet. One foot has to be in. As he goes to catch the ball, he has possession. The right foot is in. Right there, and what the official thought was that the left foot went down before he had possession. He did not. Bad call by the official, but again, that's real time, a tough call. Marcus Knight made a great play.
And Ed, though, what's strange about that is the official had great position.
It's moving a lot quicker than what we just showed you, though, Craig.
Epstein will kick. Michigan by 3, and this will be no return. So Syracuse down 3 will start at their own 20-yard line. Well, Monday on CBS, take a regular guy whose life is filled with women and let the games begin. Alfred Molina stars with Sharon Lawrence in the series premiere of Ladies' Man, right after the King of Queens. That's Monday right here on CBS. That new season, Eddie, coming up.
I don't know if I'd want to be that guy. All those women looking over my shoulder. Syracuse offense is struggling, and first down has not been good. Michigan almost 7.5 yards. Incredible, but negative -0.3 for Syracuse.
Noon's the quarterback. They throw to Spotwood. Able to break one tackle and then scoots up to the 23-yard line. A gain of 3. So second down 7. Clock is running.
If you watched Syracuse back in '97, you remember Quentin Spotwood. He returned 4 touchdowns on punts and tied the NCAA record. He led the team in receptions, receiving yards, was Big East special teams player of the game, blew out his knee last year, went through rehab, says he is back. He actually thinks he's running better now because he had to work on his running technique there. The left knee. He's wearing a knee sleeve, but he took off the knee brace last week against Central Michigan.
And he came up with 2 touchdowns. And he celebrated, saying, "I'm back." Noons, tough throw, Woodcock over the middle. Incomplete. Second down. Check that, 3rd down and 8.
Troy Noons has to get himself settled down. This is the biggest game he's played in so far in front of the home crowd. That was wide open. Pat Woodcock was wide open on the play fake. Never got his feet set to throw that ball. He just needs to calm himself down a little bit. The veterans in that huddle, the offensive linemen, Spotwood, D. Brown, they've got to get into his ear and say, just settle. Everything's going to be fine.
From the shotgun. Noon stands, dances, throws it. Patman, the free safety. And the second interception of this quarter for the young quarterback, Troy Noons.
We talked about the veterans. On this Syracuse offense. They can't make mistakes like this. The receivers are blanketed down the field, nowhere to go, but right in the middle is Nick Sedano. A good throw by Noons. It goes through the hands of Sedano, and the problem was it bounced off his forehead, the helmet, straight up into the air, into the hands of Patman. I just talked about the veteran leaders on this team. Sedano's got to come up with that catch.
And now Michigan +8 on the turnover ratio this season. Noons trying to get some encouragement on the sideline. Anthony Thomas, the ball carrier, slices off the right side to the 20, to the 19-yard line. Boy, big gain on first down again of about 8 yards. Harris and Bird made the stop.
Excuse me, this is the first time that I've seen Anthony Thomas live. I've watched him a ton of times on film. The one thing I didn't realize he had, Craig, was the burst. I mean, I knew he was fast. I knew he could get the corner, but that time there wasn't much of a hole there. Donald Dinkins was closing in. The defense of Syracuse was there, and he burst through that hole. Great burst.
Second down, 1 pitch. They tried the right side. Now they go left side, and Thomas taken down at the 15. That stops the clock with 9:31 remaining in the half, and Michigan with a 3-0 lead, trying to tack on 6 more.
And here's where Syracuse defense is really starting to show the wear and tear of having to be on the field for most of the second half. That time they had some guys out there, hands on the hips, guys breathing real heavy. They've got a 3-man rotation in the middle of that defensive line. The defense of Syracuse, the coach has got to start getting those guys fresh.
Marcus Knight in motion. 1st and 10. Bootleg. Henson throws to the flat. He finds his tight end, Thompson. And he's upended at the 9-yard line. McIntosh made the hit.
You know, when we were talking earlier in the week to Lloyd Carr, he said that this defense of Syracuse is the fastest that they faced, and really talked about their defensive backfield. This looked like it was going to be a much bigger play, but as Thompson turns around, Ian McIntosh right there on the scene, goes low against the bigger Thompson. Smart play, but good fill by McIntosh from his safety spot.
Well, in the red zone, Michigan 15 opportunities, 6 touchdowns, 7 field goals. They missed 1 3-point opportunity. Thomas hits the pile, leans forward. I think just on the lean alone, Anthony Thomas is going to give you 1 yard. Greenwood and Bullock teamed up to make the hit.
Bullock having a nice day in the middle so far. He said really this was the beginning of his season. Got to play against Toledo, but he said I never really got to shake the rust off. Had to sit out last week, which he was not happy about. Understood why he had to sit out, but he said this is really the start of my season. Syracuse could use a big play out of him right here.
Michigan will line up in the double tight end set on 3rd down and 4.
With the athleticism of Henson, a rollout would be pretty good down here.
Marquise Walker is split out to the far side. Henson wants to throw through the hands, incomplete, of Aaron Shea.
That's what I talked about early. Henson's got a very strong arm. Shea is wide open in the flats, and he overthrows his target. And balls tend to get away from guys with really strong arms. He's a 3rd baseman in professional baseball, so you know he's got a strong arm. Just too high on his release point, and Shea never had a chance at that one.
Well, Delverne with another opportunity with a field goal, connected on a 41-yarder just minutes ago to break a long drought.
Great story. This guy got a scholarship last Tuesday before Rice. He is tied for 1st in the NCAA in field goals.
25-yard attempt. It's up and good. Michigan leads by 6. We'll be back. See, when you got big brothers, what it must have been like at the dinner table.
He's one of those guys they listed 6'3". You meet him, he looks like he's about 6'5". Has that size the NFL loves for that middle linebacker spot.
Epstein has it teed up at the 35. He's ready to kick. Boy, line drive knuckleball. Tough to handle. Takes a couple of hops. It is. Will Allen has it. The drop turns it corner at the 30. Flags are down, and Allen with a strong-headed return at the 41, but flags are down. Brandon Williams made the stop for the Wolverines.
I think they're going to get Graham Manley and Stephen Brominski. They were working a double team coming up the field on number 46, Andy Seckler. And I think they just held him on the ground a little too long. They're going to get both of those guys for holding. And that's a shame, Craig. That's one of the things that Syracuse needs is some kind of special teams play.
Throwing the run back. 10-yard penalty from the sound foul.
So from the 40, Syracuse will be marched back inside the 25.
Right there in the middle of your screen is the double team. They start to drive him back. And the guy who's on the right side, right there, number 89, gets a hold of his jersey, and that's a takedown. Good call by the official.
And now a timeout. Medee Williams has come in relief for Troy Nunes after the redshirt freshman has thrown a couple of interceptions.
And this is what they want to do. It's not a punishment thing by Paul Pasqualoni for Troy Nunes. That's the way that they do it. 2 series for Nunes, 1 series for Medee. Now, if Medee can get something going here with 7:48 left in the half, you got to wonder, is Paul Pasqualoni, he said, we reserve the right to change the way we substitute our quarterbacks. And so it'll be interesting to see if Medee Williams can get anything going. What will Coach Pete do in the second half?
Oh, I'll tell you, we reserve the right
to refuse service to anyone.
He's thinking about the Senate seat later. Timeouts remaining. Michigan with 3, and Syracuse has burnt theirs.
Coach Pasqualoni very lucky at this stage of the game to only be down 6-0.
I'll tell you, Syracuse has not had a first down since the opening drive. That goes back now 15 plays.
That's not good, Craig. And, you know, against a team like Michigan, there's really no mystery to what Michigan likes to do offensively. When you have a running back like Anthony Thomas, why would you do anything else? And when your offense can't get anything going, we've already seen. But you know what? Syracuse defense really impressed me so far in this game. They've given up a few big plays, but when it came time, they've really stood up and been counted.
Well, Syracuse scored 35 against Toledo, 47 last week against Central Michigan. So far, they've been shut out. Williams, play fake, rolls out, throws, complete. He's tied in. That's Mike Bennett.
And there is Todd Howard again.
Man, at the 31. Hello.
Great touch throw by Medee Williams, the more athletic of the two quarterbacks at Syracuse. Little play fake to D. Brown and rolls out. Good job by left tackle Banowitz. Nice little touch pass, but watch Howard. Bam! That's a great tackle. That's 180 pounds going up against 256 pounds. And the 180 wins. Howard didn't even go down after the hit. He's playing a great game.
Movement and flags. Well, I'm thinking that Howard at 5'10", as you said, 180, that's got to be whiplash.
You know, Craig, even if it hurt, you act like it doesn't.
Yeah, you walk proud. No problem.
I'm fine.
Dead ball foul. Offside. On the defense. 5-yard penalty.
First down, Syracuse. Tuesday on CBS, Jag, America's #1 action drama, takes you to the most dangerous place on earth. Catch David James Elliott and Catherine Bell in the season premiere of Jag. That's Tuesday right here on CBS.
If you're Syracuse, you don't care how you get first downs. You just need a few of them right now.
Flags again.
You're going to get an illegal procedure on number 32, Kyle Johnson, the fullback, in the wishbone. Oh, no, they called out on Michigan. It looked to me like Kyle Johnson rolled forward in his stance. Boyd Carr not real happy with the officiating right now.
Well, so far, Syracuse has been stifled offensively, but they're marching up the field thanks to the flags.
Offside. On the defense. 5-yard penalty for the line of scrimmage. Repeat first down.
Well, now you have 1st and 5.
Yeah, Michigan does not need to be helping out this Syracuse offense. They've done a great job up to this point, but you keep jumping off sides, you're going to let them continue to move it down the field.
Woodcock and Spotwood line up to the near side. Michigan showing blitz. Williams with the handoff. D. Brown has some running room, but is quickly shut down. Good downline pursuit by Michigan.
Grady Brooks with a great open field tackle. D. Brown hurt his Achilles, his right Achilles tendon against Central Michigan. Didn't look like he was very slow that time. Very shifty runner getting it outside, but what a great tackle by Grady Brooks in the open field. It looked like Brown was going to get the edge.
You know, D. Brown, as you mentioned earlier, is the 3rd quarterback on this Syracuse team. He told us, you know, I have the intelligence of a quarterback, but I got the body of a tailback.
6'2", 205, he's right.
From the out, play action, Williams shuffles those feet, looks, guns, and a big side to side is Woodcock. 54 yards.
Woodcock, one of the fastest players on Syracuse. Paul Pasqualoni says he's like a jackrabbit in a cornfield. This time he gets by number 3, Todd Howard. Ball slightly underthrown, but great concentration. Number 58 is Reynes getting up the middle, but D. Williams has to sidestep him. What a great throw, but an even better catch by Woodcock. Howard had his arm in there. Good coverage. Pat Woodcock, sensational catch.
First down, goal to go from the 5-yard line. steps up to the slot. Handoff. D. Brown. Flags.
Going to get a delay of game on Syracuse. They were in the wishbone. They went to a broken bone. They put the wingman over the right.
Good ball. Delay of the game.
As McConaughey gives us the call of delay of game. Now the problem is you cannot get a first down. It'll be first and goal from about the 9.5-yard line. Penalties down in the red area kill you because, like I said, you have no chance of getting a first down. You either get it in or you got to kick the field goal. But Syracuse went from the wishbone, they broke the bone, they were going to have motion across the back, and it just took too long.
First and goal just inside the 10.
Syracuse inside the red zone had 10 opportunities. They've come away with 6 touchdowns and 2 field goals. D. Brown, the lone back. It's a 4-wide receiver set. Spotwood, the motion man. Medee Williams tucks and runs and pounds his way down to the 6-yard line. Knocked down by James Hall, the outside linebacker.
Good job by Medee Williams recognizing the blitz. Dahani Jones, the middle line, lined up at middle linebacker. Came on a blitz, was unblocked, had to sidestep him, tucked and ran. Of course, Medee Williams is going to be a little different than Nunes. Nunes is going to stay in the pocket. Medee Williams, more like a Donovan McNabb, going to tuck and run. Smart play by Williams.
Second down and goal from the 6-yard line. Clock running. Williams wants to throw. Pocket collapses down the lane. Throws back to pocket. Touchdown, Spotwood! Spotwood is back from that season-ending knee injury a year ago, rehabbed mightily, and in his last 2 ball games, Ed, with now 3 touchdown receptions.
And a great job of him staying alive in the back of the end zone. He ran the corner route, wasn't there, saw Medee in trouble, came back across the back of the end zone. Heads up play by Spotwood.
Nate Trout, 71 consecutive PATs make it 72, and he ties Gary Anderson for the school record. 72 in a row as Williams finds Spotwood. 7-3, 7-6, Syracuse. With the high kick, Cato June a yard deep in his end zone. June stumbles and falls at the 11.
Brian Schottenheimer is the new wide receivers coach. If you think you've heard that name, you have. It's Marty's son. He's been working with Spotwood with his knee, getting him to run, but this time, just heads up. He sees Medee Williams in trouble. Stay alive in the back of the end zone and square to the quarterback. That's textbook. Great play by Medee Williams. You should be proud, Medee. That was heads-up football by both players.
We talked to Medee Williams a couple of days ago, Eddie, and he's kept a positive attitude. That's one thing about this Syracuse team.
It's all about the team.
With quarterback situations or controversies, even at Michigan, the same way they have kept together as a team. Michigan now down by 1. Anthony Thomas. Tough to bring down. 1, 2, 3, 5 orange helmets have to wrap him up down at the 14-yard line, led by Morton Greenwood.
I like the call by the offensive coordinator of Michigan, Mike DeBoard. The crowd gets back into it. Unbelievably, Syracuse now leading in this game. If you just tuned in, Michigan has dominated the first almost half of this game. But Medee Williams and Spotwood hook up for 7, but DeBoard comes back, and we're going to pound Anthony Thomas as to try to get this crowd back on their seats.
Thomas with 16 carries for 65 yards. Henson throws and fires a little high. Oh, what a catch and a big pop. David Terrell somehow hung on. Vernon Banks made a nice greeting.
Now, as David Terrell matures as a player, he'll start to learn how to catch the ball with his hands. See how he jumped up in the air to catch that ball? Well, that's when you're going to get tattooed by someone coming in pursuit. He's got to catch it with his hands so then he can tuck and start to run. But Vernon Banks coming from inside out coverage at that linebacker. Nice shot on Terrell.
Terrell now 2 catches, 41 yards. Banks a safety turn linebacker. He can hit. First down, Michigan. Henson throws again near side. Not much. Thomas wrapped up. They'll spot him at the 28. McIntosh, who's been very busy for Syracuse in that backfield, makes the hit.
We saw that earlier in the game where Michigan takes Anthony Thomas, moves him out to the wide receiver spot. Nice little wrinkle by Michigan. Both of these teams, as the season progresses, will start to show more of their offensive playbook. Anthony Thomas comes out as a wide receiver. Very tough look for Syracuse to adjust to.
Under 2.5 minutes left in the half. Henson again fires, and he's showing some arm strength. That was on the line to the far sideline, and again his receiver is David Terrell.
Oh, there's no question that Drew Henson has arm strength. That's a long out route, one of the toughest throws in football to make. The ball is on a rope, and you mentioned number 25, Will Allen. He had great coverage. He was right there, but because of the fastball that Drew Henson fired in there, not able to get there in time.
First and 10, Michigan at their own 36-yard line.
Another look, Aaron Shea, the fullback, comes out in the slot.
4 wideouts. Henson again throwing deep, launches it up. Incomplete. Anthony Thomas, the intended receiver, and right on his back, he was shadowing him, was McIntosh.
Craig, how many times are you going to see a 250-pound fullback and a 225-pound fullback or tailback lined up as wide receivers? Anthony Thomas is lined up wide. McIntosh in coverage, the strong safety. Aaron Shea was inside of him. Anthony, you're fast, but I think McIntosh is going to be able to run with you on that one.
Walter Cross is checked in at the tailback spot. That's that one rest that Anthony Thomas gets. Henson pedals back a little bit high on the throw, but again, Terrell has it, loses it. Did he have possession?
The umpire came from behind the linebackers saying he's down, but they are having a discussion. Remember, a split crew here, 4 Big East, 3 Big Ten. They're not real familiar with each other.
McConaughey, you see with the white hat, comes in to separate the orange and of Syracuse and Michigan.
And you really just let the officials, if you're McConaughey, you let the guys who think they saw it discuss it. If one has a stronger argument than the other, that one will stand.
And remember, Michigan has yet to turn the ball over this season. Will that change?
But Lloyd Carr said coming into a place like this on AstroTurf against team speed like Syracuse has on defense, he didn't expect that streak to continue.
But Ed, you have to like the fact that the guys huddle up and talk about it. First down, Michigan.
Good throw by Henson down the field. David Terrell having a nice game so far. But again, he tends to jump to catch the ball instead of using his hands. There's no reason for him to jump. Just reach up and catch it. You know what? That's not even a catch. Never had control of the ball. Number 3, LaTroy Oliver in there with his hand on there. That was never a catch.
From the shotgun, Henson, first down from the 45. Anthony Thomas lowers his shoulder down to the 40-yard line. And for an update, let's send you back to New York City and Tim Brando. Tim.
All right, Craig, if you were looking for a shootout in the Sunshine State, forget about it. Tennessee's T. Martin, after being out for a down, comes back in, scores on this 7-yard scamper. So the Volunteers have taken the lead in the swamp in the second.
Thought it was going to be an offensive output. Florida not playing great defense so far this year. But Team Martin really very difficult to defend. Florida used to defending against Peyton Manning. Team Martin just so much different, so more athletic running the ball.
Well, 7-6 down south, up north, indoors, may I add. It's 7-6 with Syracuse leading Michigan. Coming up on the AXA halftime report, Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman will bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights on a very busy day in college football, and they will put their spin on how they think the season will shape up by the year's end. That's all coming up on the AXA halftime report.
Yeah, with Brando and Spencer, you are going to get a few opinions between those two.
Oh, yes. And a big welcome to Mr. Tillman. He could run.
A little bit. He's got to be happy with how his Sooners are looking. Bob Stoops, the defensive coordinator. Looks like he's turned into an offensive coach as many points as they put up today. Minute 19, you have to start thinking clock control if you're Michigan. like to go down and obviously score, but you do not want to leave Syracuse any time on the clock.
Well, Ed, let's check out today's heroes as we mentioned some interesting happenings around college football. Dusty Bonner, the quarterback from Kentucky. How about that? 24-31, 304 yards and 5 touchdowns. Ron Dane.
Couch who?
Yeah. 28 carries, 231 yards. He breaks Archie Griffin's Big Ten record. Tremendous.
And Heupel, the quarterback from Oklahoma, out of nowhere, have a record-setting day.
Flags. Henson spins out of trouble. Breaks a tackle. Comes to the near side and knocked out at the 39. But again, a yellow flag down.
It's Duke Pettijohn lined up over the right tackle. Williams trying to get a jump because of the noise and just got a little too much of a jump that time.
Hey, Duke Pettijohn is quick. 4'7", 40, and he's strong. Benches about 4'10".
More of an outside linebacker type. Has actually played some linebacker this year, but has that great body lean when he comes off the corner. Just got a little quick jump there.
But Ed, as you know, it's all about timing. These guys are trying to time the snap.
Yeah, but my college coach always told me to be early, not just on time. I guess that doesn't count if you're a defensive end.
No. That's the 5th flag thrown against Syracuse. 40 yards. You see Michigan with 4 flags, 20 yards on the night. 1st and 10 from the Syracuse 35. Henson stands up in that pocket, throws it to the far side. Tough throw and a nice catch pulled down by Terrell. That's been the combination here in the 2nd quarter.
Drew Henson really starting to get into a nice groove. Coming into the game, he was only completing 50% of his passes so far. He's made some great throws. The catch earlier that was ruled a no catch to Marcus Knight was a great throw. This throw, the out to Terrell, about the exact same throw. Threw it a little earlier this time, though, so the official didn't have to make the judgment call.
Well, some say this young man may be the best two-sport athlete since the great John Elway. Back to the air. Looking for Marquise Walker, incomplete. Again, a little bit too strong. That ball got away from him. And he made a great mention, Ed, about the fact he's a third baseman and a great pro prospect of the Yankees organization. And yet he's kind of now battling between what should I do? Go to the pro ranks and play, or should I stay down here and lead Michigan to a possible national title? But when you have to battle another quarterback in Tom Brady, you have to wonder what's going through Lloyd's Carr's mind. It's tough.
And Dwight Freeney, we're looking at right there. He's got that big contraption. He had finger surgery on his right middle finger. He tore a tendon. Was not expected to play tonight, but able because of that contraption.
They want to use his rush abilities. Out of the backfield comes Aaron Shea. You can hear the cheers in this building. There is a big contingent of Wolverine fans in the upper deck.
And in the corner of the end zone where Aaron Shea just scored is where all the maize and gold and blue are hanging out. Excuse me, maize and gold. But Aaron Shea, a big fullback back at 6'5", 251 pounds. Shows a good burst of speed running by everybody there.
Del Verne with the chip shot and the extra point. Shea takes it in for Michigan, and the Wolverines on the road lead 13-7. We'll be back.
I think AOL is one.
Quarter Michigan and Syracuse starting to battle it out. 13-7 Wolverines. Shea with his first touchdown reception of the season. Long kick and no return. Allen takes the knee.
A fullback screen set up very nicely by Drew Henson. He drew in the defense. Little touch pass to Shea. He's got all the big boys. Williams is out there throwing blocks. He's a little behind the play, but a good job by Shea finding his blockers in the seam and bursting. And those are the easy ones for the quarterback. Nice little touch pass over the top to the fullback for 6.
Second touchdown throw for Henson. And on that drive, Ed, how impressive was Henson? 7 of 9 for 82 yards. Nunes is back in for Syracuse.
So Coach Bascaloni stays with his rotation. 2 series, 2-1.
D. Brown, quick hitter. And that hole closed in a hurry to the 23, a pickup of 3. And the clock continues to run here as we wind down the first half.
Now, Craig,
the free safety made the hit.
I don't know why Syracuse would not be in a no-huddle situation. Plenty of time here to try to get down the field and try another field goal. They're just wasting too much time. They may be lucky to get 2 plays off before the end of the half.
Second down, 7 from the eye. 2 wideouts to the near side. Noons hands up. The big fellow rumbling through. Johnson, the junior, he backs up Sedano at fullback, and a first down, Syracuse.
Again, though, Craig, it took 30 seconds to get that play off. You're down to 11 now. I just don't understand why, and no sense of urgency to get to the ball as the referees start the clock. And I don't blame these Orange fans for booing.
Well, Shea's touchdown has put Michigan up top. That's the end of the first half with a score. Michigan leading Syracuse 13-7. We now take you to New York City, and here's Tim Brando. Negative range throughout most of the first half, and they end up with 70.
And the amazing thing, the total yards, 70 for Syracuse, 54 on those on the pass from McD Williams to Pat Woodcock. Time of possession, almost 5-minute differential. Syracuse defense has been on the field way too long in this game.
Now, Syracuse won the toss to start this game. They deferred, so they'll get the football to start the third quarter. Epstein has it teed up at the 35. And back to receive for Syracuse is Will Allen and Ian McIntosh.
It'll be interesting to see what Syracuse does with their quarterbacks here in the second half. McD Williams was the more effective quarterback in the first half.
Boy, Epstein with a lively leg and no return. Will Allen takes a knee 5 yards deep, so Syracuse will start at their own 20-yard line. And Ed, here is our Aflac trivia question of the day. You ready? Who was the only man to be inducted into 3 different Halls of Fame? Stick around and think about that. We'll give you the answer a little bit later.
And remember, no wagering on the Aflac trivia question.
That's right, no wagering. Well, the quarterback to start the second half for Syracuse is Troy Noons. Had a couple of picks in the first half of play. And it's going to be interesting for this young guy, Ed, to see how he will respond to pressure. Michigan with the 13-7 lead, and they start Syracuse on the ground. D. Brown to the 21. Nothing fancy, bang away. 2 lines saying who can push who.
Michigan comes into this game. This is the 3rd team Michigan has played in a row that has an option element to it. So what did the defensive coaches of Michigan and Jim Herman do? They took a backup defensive back, Tad Van Pelt, who played option in high school. He's been playing quarterback on the scout team. He's done a fantastic job at Syracuse, not running much option so far tonight.
Second down, 9. Pass. Woodcock to the 31. First down, Syracuse, and for the first time in a long time, you hear this Carrier Dome crowd respond.
Pat Woodcock getting a lot of playing time. Jeff Lowe, a 5th-year senior, out with a broken foot. Great move to the inside. He got Todd Howard spun around. That's how you release. If there's man coverage, press coverage by Howard. Good job by Woodcock. Fake to the outside. Use those hands. Little swim technique inside. Good move by Woodcock.
Nick Sedano checks in number 35 at the fullback spot. Woodcock with 2 receptions tonight, 65 yards. Option. Michigan didn't bite. They stay at home, and big number 56. That's James Hall. Wraps up Noons.
James Hall, the linebacker, is going to come right inside. Amazingly lined up as a defensive tackle. Again, these are things that you don't see. As the season starts to progress, teams will start to show more of their stuff. James Hall has played linebacker his entire career. He is now lining up as a defensive lineman. That time came down inside. A good job over the guard.
Hall was an all-Big Ten second-team pick a year ago. Play action, Noons rolls on the run. Gets a block call, and now Noons smartly runs out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Well, Noons not a big fella, but he's put on some pretty good weight in the offseason, and you know why? It's called peanut butter.
Last winter and spring, I ate 3 meals a day, And in between each meal, I'd have 2 or 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with milk, and that's about it. And you know, so I'd go through about a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter every 3 days.
George Washington Carver would be proud. I don't think that's one of the things he came up with for the peanut, is gaining 30 pounds so you can play college football.
You see the numbers, 5 rushes, just a yard, little movement up front for Michigan, no flags. Dee Brown hits it hard, looking for the first down. Looks like he got the mark. Boy, Dee Brown, 6-footer, 206, and Eddie, he hits it hard.
But it is Rob Rainus in the middle. The nose guard takes up 2 blockers so that the linebackers can fill. When we talked to Rainus earlier in the week, he's the nose guard in a 3-4. You have to take a pound. He said, I judge my performance on Saturdays by how many guys it takes to block me. That time it took 2 guys to block Rainus so the linebacker could fill. Dee Brown, good job fighting up in there because there was really nothing there to get the first down.
So if there is a body that you want to carve to be a nose tackle, it's Rainus, a 6'1", 290.
Yeah.
Great leverage. First down, Syracuse. Nunes on the option pitch. Got a leg to the 45-yard line of Michigan. Tripped up, and again we've called his name all night as Todd Howard, the corner, number 3.
This is a double option. A lot of times you hear the triple option. The fullback, Johnson, is lined up strong. He's not going to take a fake. He gets downfield and gets a block on Hendricks. Gets down in front of him and springs Dee Brown. If Spotwood could have hung on Todd Howard, that would have been a much longer run. But Syracuse getting a little something going on offense.
Dee Brown now 8 carries for 19 yards. Woodcock comes out from the wide position and sets up in the backfield. First and 10. Orange. Nunes pulls back, looking good. He's got Spotwood to the line. Howard jumped on his back and rode him down.
Syracuse has more offense than any team in the country. You're going to see an option fake by Nunes, and the reason this is good is because Howard is peeking in the backfield. He takes a false step, the speed of Spotwood right by Howard. Because of the option, Howard's caught looking into the backfield. As soon as he takes that step and he's flat-footed, Spotwood right by him. Good play by Nunes, better play by Spotwood.
43-yard gain. Spotwood now 4 catches for 59 yards. Syracuse, first and goal. They have the double tight end set. Dee Brown in motion. Flags. And again, I think the play clock, Eddie, ran out.
Look at the brow of Paul Pasqualone.
You know what? That's a brow. That's a look I do not want to see coming back to the sideline.
Pretty intense guy. That's an understatement about Paul Pasqualone. Just had his first child, him and his wife. Have an 8-month-old son, Dante. They've got another one on the way. So what do you have to do? He moved from 5.5 miles away to a mile away. He said it buys me about 20 minutes of extra time at home. That's a guy who has a lot of stuff to do around Syracuse.
I said I can stop in for a cup of coffee, give the little guy a good night kiss, goes back to the office,
of course,
and usually stays there till after 1 o'clock a.m. Dee Brown past the 5 and up to the 3-yard line, tackled by Eric Wilson.
Syracuse had a penalty earlier in the game where they were down on the goal line in the red zone inside that 5, really the black zone. Once you get down inside the 2-yard line, you can't be making mistakes like that. But a good play call that time. New offensive coordinator George DeLeon, who was the defensive coordinator last year for Paul Pasqualone. Nice little draw play, got some of that yardage back.
Second down and goal, 9th play of the drive. Michigan trying to shoot the gap. Nunes throws, fires, touchdown. Monroe. James Monroe is not your typical receiver out of the backfield. Only his 2nd catch of the season, but it goes for a big touchdown to put Syracuse on top.
And Nate Trout going for a big record here at Syracuse. If he makes this PAT, he breaks Gary Anderson's record with 73 PATs in a row. I hope I didn't just jinx him.
Nunes is the holder. Good snap. The kick is up.
Oh, Craig. looked like somebody from Michigan might have got a hand on it.
Henson gets Syracuse into the end zone, and we'll be back.
His 73rd straight PAT. James Hall from Michigan, a linebacker, comes inside, gets his left hand up right there and knocks it to the wide left side. A good job by Hall. I was hoping I didn't jinx Nate Trout. Well, when it's a block kick, it would have been right down the middle, so I can't take credit for jinxing him.
I'm not so sure. 9 plays, 80 yards, 4 minutes, 15 seconds off the clock.
Interesting to point out as well, Craig, the 2 big plays on that, obviously the touchdown to Mungro, but also the 43-yard pass to Spotwood, both came off option play fakes.
Noon's impressive after the struggling first and second quarters, 3 for 3 for 57 yards. Kato June at the goal line. And to the 15. So a 15-yard return. We gave you the Aflac trivia question. We're going to give you the answer. Again, who was the only man to be inducted into 3 different Halls of Fame?
College, NFL, and lacrosse. Jim Brown, one of the best lacrosse players in the history of the game, 2-time All-American. They actually had to change a rule because of Jim Brown. He used to cradle the ball into his chest, plow through everybody and score. You can no longer cradle the ball up against your chest in lacrosse because of Jim Brown.
Drew Henson draws the starting assignment for Michigan to start the third quarter. We're tied at 13 here at the Carrier Dome. And the Wolverines go to their man, the big back, Anthony Thomas, up to the 18, 19-yard line. And we talked about offense. Michigan at 31.5 points a game. Syracuse at 41. Expect this close of a ball game?
Well, you and I both talked before the game that the crowd would be a factor, and it has been. Michigan's had a couple of guys jump off sides. The pressure from Syracuse coming from the edges because their tackles slow getting out of their stances.
Second down, 7. Henson throws out of the backfield. Thomas collared at the 21-yard line by Will Allen on the left corner.
What a great job by Will Allen that time. Came off of his coverage as soon as he saw the ball swinging out to Thomas. Did a nice job coming off of his responsibility, getting over there, keeping that to a short game. 2 guys sending signals in over on the sidelines, trying to confuse the defense a little bit. You never know who is giving the real signal.
And Ed, one of those is the starting quarterback, Tom Brady. Timeout on the field.
Syracuse and Paul Pasqualoni, his defensive coordinator Chris Rippon, a little confused because they didn't expect Michigan to be in that personnel grouping.
Did not want to burn a timeout. And a 13-all tie.
Come on, Gators, let's go. That was a game I thought Tennessee would go in there with Jamal Lewis and really run up and down the field, but Tim's right. You try to play a zone defense against Steve Spurrier and his offense, they're going to move it down the field.
You ever heard Tim sing, though?
Good point. The difference, Tom Brady, Drew Henson, both of them playing today. Drew Henson has come in and played a great game. Tom Brady, not as accurate as he has been, only completing 50%. Henson really played a great second quarter.
You can just imagine the outcome of this game, what it's going to be like back in Ann Arbor, Michigan, about this quarterback situation for Lloyd Carr. Syracuse showing blitz, they pull back. Henson fires a dart to the far side. Shea has it close to the first down. Looking at it from this vantage point, looks as if Michigan will have a first down near the 28-yard line. Will Allen again there, around to make the tackle.
Aaron Shea very effective out of the backfield. Already has the touchdown on the fullback screen at the end of the first half. Syracuse defensively really doing a nice job tackling tonight. They've given up some yardage, but when they get out in the open field, they're starting to bring these guys down.
2 wide receivers to the near side. Anthony Thomas bangs his way to the 29. That was a hard yard indeed. As 3-4 orange helmets around him, led by Downing and Banks.
Yeah, Vernon Banks found himself one-on-one with Anthony Thomas, and it was fun to watch him from our angle. One of the Orangemen is down, but it was fun to watch him from our angle. It is Vernon Banks. Took a little punishment that time.
What was a good one here at the Carrier Dome. Michigan and Syracuse tied at 13-all. First weekend, coaches usually say we work out the bugs. By week 3, you need some answers. answers are coming tonight for Syracuse and Michigan.
But there's still some questions. Both of them trying to figure out which quarterback they're going to use for their stretch run. Drew Henson playing fantastic for Michigan right now.
Yeah, he's making a mark tonight. Throws, tuck pass to the far side, caught, and the nice lean up to the 35-yard line. That ball was hauled down by Terrell, who's had a very productive night. J.R. Johnson made the hit.
Johnson, we've already seen make some great hits tonight on special teams out there in coverage. But again, Syracuse, one of the things I think Paul Pasqualoni has learned about his team, they can tackle. They lost all of those weapons on offense, but they returned a lot of their defense. And he has some really good young linebackers. J.R. Johnson, one. Later in the game, we'll probably see Clifton Smith, a great true freshman.
How about those numbers? 10 of his last 12 for 96 yards and a touchdown. Stands up in that pocket, throws incomplete. Through the hands of his tight end. That was a catchable ball. Thompson, the sophomore from Saginaw, Michigan. David Bird, the right corner, was there on coverage, and that forces a fourth down.
But Duke Pettijohn, again, from that right defensive end spot, that great body lean, going up against the left tackle Backus, got a nice jump down around the legs of Drew Henson. He did not feel comfortable throwing that ball. Good coverage downfield.
Corey Sargent at his own 19. Spotwood dangerous every time he touches the football. The left footer gets it up, and oh, what a beauty. Good hang time. Spotwood pedals back to the 19. Spotwood pointing for help. Makes a cut at the 25. And to the 32-yard line goes Quentin Spotwood. 45-yard kick and a 13-yard return. Don't go anywhere. 8:28 left. Third quarter. Michigan, Syracuse locked at 13. Back inside the Carrier Dome, third quarter. Under 8.5 minutes left. Madee Williams, who's been trading time with Troy Nunes for Syracuse, now under center, number 17, sophomore from Pittsburgh. 13 all. Syracuse and Michigan. Williams on the sprint out. Tons of more. He has just hit and taken down. He'll lose 5, maybe 6 yards back to the 24.
Victor Hobson, the outside linebacker. Michigan last year struggled against the option. The one thing you have to do defending the option, hit the quarterback in the mouth every time it's run. Even if he pitches it that time, Hobson stays home and gets a nice shot on Madee. And also, the Michigan defense had the pitch man covered, so Williams had nowhere to go with that ball.
And a lot of high hopes for that young guy, Victor Hobson, only a freshman. Outside backer backs up Grady Brooks. Hobson at 6'1", 235. Second down. At 16, they flip it out to D. Brown. Michigan plays it well defensively, and Brown tackled at the 29. Dhati Jones right there to wrap him up.
Mark Banowitz, the left tackle we talked about, his quick feet. This time getting a little help, but he pops up real quick and strong. He's got great feet, a former tight end. And he is an NFL prospect with those feet.
Well, today's Rigid Tools Scholar Athlete of the Game is Mark Banowitz, left tackle for Syracuse. You see him at 6'6", 289, fifth-year senior. Rigid Tools' commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the Syracuse University General Scholarship Fund. High snap taken down by Williams, in and out of the hands of Mungrove. I'll tell you, Banowitz, Ed, is a great story. As you mentioned, as a freshman, moved from tight end to left tackle. He's been on the dean's list every semester since making his way to Syracuse. How about that? Hey, Mom, Dad, 3.82, and I'm playing college football, doing pretty good.
Paul Pasqualoni said when he gets an A-, he mopes around the locker room. Hey, lighten up, Mark. An A- still pretty good.
Marcus Knight back to receive the kick as Syracuse is looking at 4th and 14. Bit short, signaling the fair catch. Bodies all over. Ball still bouncing. It's going to get a Syracuse bounce. Oh my, inside the 15 to the 13. Well, Thursday on CBS. Wait till you see what the creator of Ally McBeal.
Got in his way. Johnson very lucky he didn't get flagged on that.
Henson back at quarterback as you look over the shoulder of Spotwood. 13 all, Michigan and Syracuse. Anthony Thomas, 225-pound bruiser, running off the right side.
His is Lloyd Carr showing us his hand. Henson comes in the second half, and he's been playing the entire time.
Well, the big question, as you look to the sideline, Tom Brady wears number 10, but Lloyd Carr, if he's showing the hand, because next week they open up Big Ten play against Wisconsin, and there was so much talk they had to settle on the quarterback by the time they reach conference play.
And hey, let's not kid ourselves. It's a tight ball game. He's going with somebody he thinks gives him a chance to win.
Hanson, three-step drop, throws it up. One-handed catch! Oh, what a grab by Terrell!
A little shrug of the shoulders, like, what did you expect?
That's like Henson, though, playing the hot corner at third, making the snag.
You got a sophomore throwing to a sophomore. Michigan fans, you got a few years of fun stuff if you're going to get this. Not a very good throw by Henson, but what great hands. If you're going to go for the one-handed catch, stop the ball, then get both hands. David Byrd is right there to hit. Terrell, as he catches, hey, no big deal. I do those all the time in practice.
Well, he's got 4.3 speed. Mr. Terrell, 7 catches, 111 yards. And Michigan on the move, trying to break the 13 all-time. Henson now on the rollout, chase from behind. High steps it out, and then smartly, and may I add, smartly runs it out at the 42.
But there is the athletic ability of Drew Henson. We've watched Duke Pettijohn, number 49, terrorize quarterbacks all night. Pettijohn got up the field. It was a bootleg. And Henson was looking for Thompson, his tight end, but he couldn't throw it because of the pursuit from Pettijohn, but able to outrun an outside linebacker.
13 of 19, 156 yards. The numbers.
I wasn't a big believer in Drew Henson. I thought Tom Brady should be their quarterback. He's starting to change my mind tonight.
Play action all day to throw. Throws it up. Thomas is there. And overthrows by a couple of yards. Incomplete. McIntosh on coverage, but Henson again shows you the incredible arm strength he has. And you made a point early in the first half. You know, he plays third base in the minor leagues, and he's got a lively arm. And until he kind of shows or learns how to control the flotation of that football, he's going to be a little bit long at times.
This is his second year in college. He's a sophomore, but did not redshirt, played as a true freshman. And Lloyd Carr right now showing us, hey, is this the guy that's going to lead us the rest of the way through the Big Ten schedule?
Walter Cross, the lone back for Michigan on 3rd down and 10. Henson, good protection, throws it up again, up high, nobody there, picked. It's taken in by McIntosh, the strong safety, and the first turnover committed by Michigan this season.
And it's a big one, Craig. A ball, we're just talking about Drew Henson only being a sophomore, a 2-year sophomore, tried to throw this ball away. He knew that Marcus Knight was covered deep, just tried to overthrow everybody. Drew, you've got great arm strength. Leave no doubt. Try to throw it through the uprights. Ian McIntosh, use a baseball term, just plays center field. Gets to the warning track, makes the diving catch.
He was going for Marcus Knight, the senior from down in Alabama. First turnover this season for Michigan. 13-all. Syracuse now has it, 1st and 10, and Nunes returns for the Syracuse Orangemen. Has Woodcock and underthrows him at midfield. Woodcock had a couple of white jerseys all over him.
Look at Troy smiling. That play was a little helter-skelter from the start.
Patman was there along with Whitley.
Again, they went with the option fake. They tried to sneak Woodcock off the outside. There's the air conditioning provided by the Cool Zone in the Carrier Dome. Kind of odd.
Well, this dome comes in mighty handy around mid-November.
No, into this month it's going to come in mighty handy.
They got chilly last night. I formation, 2nd down. Nunes again rolls into that pocket. Stands, looks, talks, looks. Breaks the tackle, needs some help. Going the other way. Oh, my. Throws it downfield, and this one travels out of bounds at the 37. Everyone is
exhausted. He threw a flag in the end zone for intentional grounding. Now the problem is, Craig, the new rule is loss of down, and the ball is marked where the intentional grounding happened. If he calls this intentional grounding, it could end up being a safety for Michigan. And that is the call.
Safety. Oh, what a big play.
They changed the rule in college football this year that on an intentional grounding, they try to make it like a sack. So from the point of where the ball is thrown, if it's called intentional grounding, it is now a safety, just like Troy Nunes was sacked. Like I said earlier, is this number 11 or Donovan McNabb, number 5? Michigan running around everywhere. Gold had a chance at him, outruns Hall, goes into the end zone. Now here's where he makes his mistake. Throwing the ball away, nobody in the area. This is not the NFL where once you're out of the pocket, you can throw it out of bounds. It has to be near a receiver. The proper call made by the official and the safety on Syracuse.
One of the strange plays so far in college football, and it gives Michigan a 15-13 lead. What a scramble by Nunes, but made, as you mentioned, the mistake of throwing the ball away as he was in the end zone and no receivers in the area.
And here's where the redshirt freshman Nunes mistake hurts you. Not only do you give up 2 points, but now you have to kick off and you're moved back for that kickoff. So Michigan most likely will get very good field position. Be interesting to see who comes into the game at quarterback for Michigan. Drew Henson made a bad decision on the play before, so we had a sophomore mistake, now a freshman mistake. Who does Lloyd Carr put in at quarterback?
After a safety, you bring the ball back to the 20-yard line. And Syracuse will have to kick it away to Michigan with the 2-point lead. Remember, third quarter here at the Dome in Syracuse, 4:57 remaining.
So not only do you give up the 2 points, you've got to kick off, and then you're penalized 15 yards, normally kicking off from the 35. So you figure if a good return comes back to the 25, pack another 15. Michigan could bring this ball out to midfield if Syracuse doesn't get down and cover.
Anthony Thomas is in. He's the middle receiver on this kickoff receiving team. Drought has it teed up at the 20. Boots it high and long. Thomas at the 19. Thomas breaks a tackle, nearly fumbled, and then taken down at the 40-yard line. And he was hit by Charles Burton.
Okay, we've had Anthony Thomas as a wide receiver. We've had him out in the flats on the wing pass. We've had him lined up as a running back. Now he's returning kicks. I wonder if he washes the jerseys after the game, Greg.
I'm
very
sure
lucky
if
this
Lloyd
time.
Carr asks, he will do it.
Very lucky, gets the fumble, but never touches the ground. Good concentration. But here's that field position, able to bring it out to the 40-yard line.
That was a 22-yard return, nearly fumbled away. 1st and 10 Michigan. Henson throws out of the backfield, led nicely by Syracuse. No way are they going to let Anthony Thomas out of there. Greenwood made the stop, averaging 11 tackles a game, and that's one reason why.
This is where you find out about your defense. This is what's called a sudden change. Things are going well, you're playing good, you're tied with the 6th-ranked team in America, and then on offense a mistake is made. Now you're given bad field position. This is where Paul Pasqualoni and Chris Rippon, his defensive coordinator, find out how good are these guys.
Cross comes in to relieve Anthony Thomas. And Syracuse defense right now is, hey, Ed, they must have heard you because they're taking advantage of the situation.
And here is Clifton Smith, a true freshman out of Freeport, New York. Every time you ask about this guy, Pasqualoni, Rippon, the defensive coordinator and linebackers coach, so excited. A true freshman who can call the entire defense, not only gifted athletically, but he's been studying the defense. They are confident that he can be in there calling the signals.
Composed is the word that Coach Pasqualoni uses. And as you mentioned, Eddie, 6'2", 250. Only 18. 3rd down. Henson going sideline. Tip. Did he catch it? That's Marquise Walker from right around here in Syracuse at Henninger High School. That ball was up for grabs. He pulled it down, but out of bounds. So that brings up 4th down. So Syracuse and their defense makes the stand.
But look at Lloyd Carr's face. That says 1,000 words. This ball never should have been thrown. As well as Drew Henson has played, his last 2 passes have been bad. That one, we got a block punt, Craig.
Taking a squib on the turf, on the roll, and it's getting a Wolverine roll.
It looked like Will Allen or LaTroy Oliver got in there.
And this may roll to downtown. Down to the 22. 22-yard line. Sargent had that ball blocked And he still got it down to the 22. 43-yard kick.
It's amazing that a blocked punt can actually help your average. Coming with a an 8-man rush because they have to cover the bullets. Everybody with their ears pinned back. It was Oliver who beat the wingman inside and got a piece of it. The ball had a lot of spin on it, though, Craig, as it came out, and it rolled forward all the way down to the 22.
Troy Nunes. Pasqualoni stays with his young quarterback. Nunes throws. Boy, a little misread there, looking for the tight end. Incomplete. Let's go back to New York City, our college football studios, and Tim Brando. Tim.
Dirt on the coffin of Florida, but never underestimate Steve Spurrier in a big game. He takes challenges and meets them head on.
Here it's 15-13 Michigan. Second down. Monroe. He jumps his way past the 30 up to the 33-yard line. James Monroe, only a sophomore. And this young guy, as we mentioned, just a tremendous high school player, over 8,400 yards. He had 3,000 his senior season. And how about this, Eddie? 115 touchdowns. He knows how to play this position.
Great job by the left guard, O'Donnell, in the center, Bowen. They were able to knock out Reynes, the tough nose guard of Michigan, and get up on the linebacker. No question Monroe can run it. The thing is, he's got to be able to do everything else as a running back.
Monroe again gets the call, and one of those things is to hang on to the football. Had 2 fumbles last week against Central Michigan, which really put the eyebrow up for Coach Paul Pasqualoni.
The strength for Michigan on defense, their defensive front, led by a bunch of seniors that time. Eric Wilson, defensive tackle, was right there. And there was nothing there for Monroe. Last year, 50 carries for 365 yards. Just a sophomore. He's a true sophomore because he played those 50 carries happened as a true freshman. And against Michigan last year, he had 8 rushes for 41 yards. So trying to top that this year against Michigan.
Well, a tremendous per-run average of 6.5 yards a carry. Play action, Nunes stands and throws.
Nunes very good in the pocket, able to move around and buy some time. Does the play fake to Monroe, and the pocket starts to collapse, and from the backside just gets crushed by Josh Williams. Woodcock turned to the inside. Nunes threw it to the wrong side of him. That ball, the post route, has to go to the inside. Woodcock makes the adjustment too late, not able to get around and hang on to it.
You can hear the breath just come right out of this Carrier Dome crowd. Third down. Nunes on the run, now throws a dart incomplete. Little hop and a skip. Malik Campbell was in the area. And now a 4th down facing Syracuse. Patman, the free safety, on coverage.
Now, Paul Pasqualoni and his staff, when they go break this film down tomorrow and decide, you know, what happened at the quarterback situation. Nunes, remember, redshirt freshman, a lot of pressure on him to come in. He's done a good job in the pocket, but he just hasn't been very accurate this evening.
Schaefer the kick. Good hang time. Knight waves the fair catch, and Michigan will have it at the 26-yard line. Well, next Saturday on the Home Depot, college football. Henson quarterbacking Michigan. Anthony Thomas picking his way. Heading to the sideline, wrapped up. Syracuse, you have to give credit to that front. Good downline pursuit all night, not letting Anthony Thomas turn the big corner.
And that was Clifton Smith again. Quentin Harris coming up from his safety spot, giving some help. But the true freshman, Smith, showing some of that great speed that these coaches are so excited about.
Anthony Thomas, 20 carries. He's been a workhorse, 80 yards. It's been 4 yards of hard work every time he's carried it. Well, this time he breaks the tackle and picks up about 8. First down, Michigan, as the clock is winding down here in the 3rd quarter.
The official, the umpire, trying to get out of the way. Now listen, if Anthony Thomas is running up the middle, I'd run out of my shoe to get out of his way as well. That guy just has no pads on.
11 carries for Anthony Thomas. You got to lace those up a little tighter.
Yeah, Greenwood probably has his double knotted, knowing he'd be going butt-to-butt, head-to-head with Anthony Thomas.
Less than a minute. Michigan with a first down at their own 43. Henson throws it up top. Nearly intercepted and batted down. Good position. Once again, Will Allen has had a tremendous game at left corner for Syracuse.
As good as Drew Henson looked in the second quarter and the beginning of the third, has really struggled late here in the third quarter. He's starting to let that ball float. That ball was thrown high and into coverage. Again, the strong arm, he's going to let it float sometimes, and it's really starting to happen on him right now.
Henson 1 for his last 5, -yard. He also had an interception. Second down 10. Clock continues to wind down. They take to the ground. Now it's going to run the clock up to the 46-yard line. Corley, the right tackle, made the tackle.
And here is where Syracuse on defense considers this winning. Whenever you can get Michigan into 3rd and 6 or longer, you're winning.
Michigan, I don't think will run another play. They'll let the third quarter clock run dry. They have the lead thanks to a safety. That ends the third quarter. Michigan leading 15-13. We'll return to the Carrier Dome after this message and a word from your local station. Michigan as we start the fourth quarter. Michigan goes to the air. Shea knocked down. It's going to bring up fourth down, and Michigan will be forced to punt.
A great read.
Simpkins made the big hit.
A great read by Simpkins. It was a screen the whole way. The offensive lineman of Michigan didn't set that up very well. Simpkins stayed home, makes a big tackle on Shea.
Spotwood back to receive the punt. Hinton takes it at the 15. Heads to the far side, makes the big turn, has room, but then chased out of bounds. It'll mark him out at the 18. Sean Thompson chased him out. We'll take a break. 15-13, Michigan.
These days you hear a lot about e-commerce, and usually it's about companies with names that end in .com. Actually, e-commerce is for any company that wants a better way to do business, like respond faster to the market, or work better with partners and customers. At Microsoft, we've helped thousands of companies build on their existing systems to create the kinds of e-commerce solutions that can make any business run smarter.
There's a line of benchtop and stationary tools out there from Rigid, a name professionals have trusted since 1923. Built to last, each one carries a lifetime warranty. Engineered for the serious woodworker to be the finest tools available. But there's one thing you should know.
Hot tickets at standing room only, though. That's a great box.
Those seats come with tissue to shove in your nose as well. That's why they become luxury boxes.
Section 328, really not a bad seat in the house. 49,249 here at the Carrier Dome tonight. Medee Williams at quarterback. D. Brown knocked down, maybe loses a yard. How good is this Syracuse football team? Well, Paul Pasqualoni says we'll wait and see.
Against a very legitimate opponent, I think we'll have a real good idea, probably by about 11:30 on Saturday night, exactly what kind of team we have.
Well, it's 10-11 right now on the East Coast, and I think Coach Pasqualoni is getting a real good idea, especially defensively. He's got a pretty good team this year.
Woodcock, the motion man, from the eye, second down 9. Williams on the rollout. Looking back the other way, fires the Spotwood, and he tried to run before he caught it.
Good point, Greg. You know what? Quentin Spotwood heard footsteps. You know why? That was Larry Foote over there. I had to get that in somewhere.
Oh, Eddie.
They say he's got great foot speed, though.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I heard.
He's got a big foot today. He can run. He is a big guy. 6'1", 226 at that inside linebacker spot. Stops the clock with 13:32. It's getting late, isn't it?
I had to have some fun with his name before the night was over.
Big down here for Syracuse. from the shotgun, 3rd down 11. Williams stands, throws the deep ball.
James Whitley knew he was beat, and really a heads-up play by number 5. They had a safety blitz. Michigan had a safety blitz, so Whitley one-on-one with Woodcock. Woodcock with great speed, maybe the fastest guy, does a little shuttle, and Whitley, he tried to get away with it. You can't blame him. You'd much rather have a 5-yard holding penalty than a touchdown for Syracuse, because if that ball delivered on the money to Woodcock, that's what it would have been for Syracuse.
Woodcock gets a breather. That was a tremendous route. Little stutter stepping up.
Actually, they give it the spot foul because the ball was already in the air, but still, you'll take the 12-yard penalty over the touchdown any day of the week, especially Saturday night.
That was the first Michigan penalty of this half. D. Williams under center, 1st and 10. Option. Williams can run, but great tackle. Shooting the gap was Whitley, the corner, number 5.
Watch as D. Williams looks like he's going to go to his right, spins out. He's running the option with D. Brown. Looks like there's a lot of room. Cut it up too late. When there's that much room, if there's nobody to force the quarterback, he's got to hug the line of scrimmage. That time, D. Williams continued in his progression with the running back. But if the defensive end who's supposed to force the pitch is crashed down inside, he's got to hug it, cut it up sooner.
2nd down, 6. 4-yard gain. Try the other side. Williams looking to pitch. He touching on it. Touch the 40. At the 50, down the sideline to the 47. Dhani Jones forced him out, but a tremendous run by the quarterback of Syracuse, D. Williams.
D. Brown stays in relation to the quarterback the whole time. Could have pitched it. There's a shot at D, talking to somebody, making sure he knows his assignment. But watch Banowitz right there, hustling down the field. We talked about his foot speed. Gets all the way down and gets a block on Patman. He's the backside offensive tackle. Great hustle, number 59.
1st and 10, Syracuse. They're down 2, under 13 minutes left, and now timeout. On the field, Michigan. What's a timeout?
Oh, and that's a good timeout, Craig. They're starting to get tired at Michigan, and this crowd really starting to become a factor in Syracuse.
Drive being led by D. Williams. From the eye. Straight up the middle, fullback keeper to the 45. Hall made the tackle for Michigan.
Starting to get the feeling that Syracuse getting a nice little rhythm offensively. But D. Williams brought in, it was just part of the equation. That's how they do it. 2 series for Nunes, a series for D. Williams. But the way D. has played tonight, you've got to think that he is starting to prove to these coaches maybe he deserves more than that. Maybe we split, maybe I get the 2, and Troy gets the 1.
And then he's dislocated his small finger, his pinky finger on his left hand last week at camp in August. He had to sit out, and that's when Nunes took control. Mungo at the 40, turns it inside, and he's chased down at the 33-yard line. Oh, what a stiff arm by Mungo. Todd Howard chased him out, number 3 for Michigan.
Scoring at home, you score this as a pass completion. It's not a handoff, it is an option run reverse. Instead of the running back being outside of the quarterback, he is now inside. But D. Williams read the defensive end coming up the field. He's in my face. I pitch it to the inside instead of the outside. Big game for Syracuse.
1st and 10. Syracuse at the Michigan 34-yard line. I formation. Munro, again, the ball carrier, stood up, leans, and works his way down to the 30. That was a tough 3 yards. For an update on Tennessee and Florida, let's go to New York and Tim Brando. Tim.
It's becoming a ball game at least. 2nd touchdown of Florida called back. At home. What's going on down there?
Ball game here at the Carrier Dome, 15-13. Michigan, Syracuse trying to pound the door down. Maybe a yard to the 29 as you look to Paul Pasqualoni. There's a reason for those gray hairs.
Kyle Johnson runs into the heart and the strength of the Michigan defense. Rob Rainus, the nose guard in there, and Eric Wilson slamming the door on Kyle Johnson. That's the first part of the triple option, the fullback. You got to shut that down first, then get somebody on the quarterback and hope that somebody can come up and take the pitch man.
No flag, by the way, on that play. Brings 3rd and 7. Mungro, the motion man, 2 wide outs to the far side. Williams blitzed from behind and dropped. Ball on the deck. Fourth down, Syracuse. They mark him down at the 35.
Whitley, the cornerback, he got Brominski out there. Foot drops out, and so Brominski has to turn too late. But the quarterback, again, he has to know, he has to see that there is a blitz coming. That was the zone blitz we talked about. As Foot drops out, they replace him with Whitley. A great call by the defensive coordinator, Herman, of Michigan.
52-yard field goal attempt. High snap. Nunes thrown back at the 49. You know, Ed, you're going to have to ask Pasqualoni if that was a planned play. It was a high snap, but Nunes took off. You have to wonder what that call was.
No, Craig, that's what's called a fire call. As soon as the snap comes in, 88, Mike Bennett snaps it high. Nunes has to yell, fire, fire. Michigan still up 2. Still up 2. Paul Pasqualoni takes the kicking game very seriously, but you can't kick if you don't get the snap. Frank Joffrey, a junior guard, sends it high and outside to the holder. Nunes, he yells fire, fire. Nobody gets out into a route. He has nobody to throw it to. Pasqualoni, those things. You talked about the gray hairs. There is nobody in Division I football that takes the kicking game more seriously than Coach Pasqualoni. Things like that drive him nuts.
2 bad snaps tonight for Syracuse. Michigan will try to grind out some time on the ground. Anthony Thomas gets the carry off the right side, and he bulls his way for 3 up to the 46.5-yard line. But what happens now, Ed, the clock. It's coming up on the 9-minute mark, and Michigan by 2.
And when you have a guy like Anthony Thomas, Syracuse defense has been on the field quite a bit tonight. Drew Henson, interestingly, still in the game, although he has not been good of late. But you start to grind it out.
Play action. Henson throws to the flat, punt catch, and pulled down by the tight end, Sean Thompson, the sophomore.
Once again, Duke Pettijohn, number 49, in the face of Henson. Does not allow him to get his shoulders turned and get a good throw. If I am Tom Brady, I am standing right next to Lloyd Carr. Because Drew Henson has not been playing great. I would quit walking around, Tom. Go over by the coach. He's the guy who's going to put you in. You got to wonder if Tom Brady's going to see any more action tonight.
Oh, and look at this sea of orange. Everybody on their feet, 49,000 plus. 3rd down and 6 for Michigan. 4 wide receivers. Henson out of the pocket, chased and out of bounds. 4th down. Greenwood tracked him down from behind.
Okay, I've said his name enough tonight. Number 49 is outside the right tackle Williams. The body lead is what gets it. He drives Henson out of the pocket. He doesn't get the sack, but he flushes him out of the pocket. Morlon Greenwood finishes the play, but it's 49 Duke Pettijohn, who's played a great job, played a great game at that defensive end.
Spotwood back at his own 10-yard line. Schaefer, the left footer, has done a tremendous job with hang time tonight. End over end. Spotwood at the 14, and was leveled and thrown back at the 21. So Sargent able to get it away, and Syracuse will have it when we come back.
Maloney staying with his rotation system of 2-to-1 at quarterback.
On the option pitch, Mungro hunted down and taken down at the 21. Here's our CBS Sportsline stat of the game. We're going to break this down by halves. Total yards at Michigan, 232 first half, held to 62 so far. Syracuse, 70, and in the second half, erupted for 113. For a complete college football coverage, make sure you go to cbs.sportsline.com.
Really, the difference has been Syracuse defensively. Everybody wanted to talk about who they lost on offense. They didn't lose a lot of guys on defense. They have a new defensive coordinator, Chris Rippon, a guy who played for Coach Pasqualoni at Southern Connecticut, and he's done a fantastic job with this defense. Michigan, all those weapons, not able to do a thing in the second half.
Flag on the field against Syracuse. Looked like a chop block.
Called an illegal chop block on Syracuse. This stage of the game, you really don't need to be moving back in your own territory. You start to set yourself up with bad field position. There's Chris Rippon right there. He's been in the program for a while. This is his 7th year at Syracuse, but his first as defensive coordinator. He was named the defensive coordinator last year. Didn't really know it. He called his wife. He said, honey, I think he may have just made me the defensive coordinator, but I'm not sure.
He said, call the guys and get them together. I guess that means I'm the D coordinator. Nunes throws incomplete behind the hands of Woodcock. That stops the clock. Nunes 0 for his last 5 attempts since that touchdown pass.
Both of these coaches, Pasqualoni and Coach Carr, have big decisions to make this week. Both of them start their conference schedule next week. Michigan goes to Wisconsin. West Virginia comes to Syracuse. And both of their starters had some struggles tonight, although I think Tom Brady may be getting the short. Should have at least given a chance here in the second half.
Second down, Nunes fires out of the backfield. Hooks it up. Not much. Kyle Johnson made the reception. And Brooks, the outside backer, made the hit for Michigan.
When it's 2nd and 29, you're just hoping to get some yardage back so that you have a legitimate shot to go for it on 3rd down. Get it to 3rd and 18. It's a long way to go for a first down. That's why Syracuse decides to run a screen play, maybe get 8, 9, 10 yards, so that you have a decent yardage to go.
3rd down and 18. From the shotgun, Michigan showing blitz. Nunes pedals back, flags.
Movement in the middle of the offensive line for Syracuse. They got a little jumpy. Saw that blitz coming as an offensive lineman. You got your eyes up. You see that blitz coming. Sometimes you start in anticipation. Move a little bit in the middle there.
You never jumped, did you?
I couldn't. I was a center. I was always right, even when I was wrong. Boy, that brow is getting a workout tonight, isn't it, Craig?
That brow, that's a scowl. Look at that mouth. Tight-lipped indeed. 3rd down, 24. 6:47 clock running.
Syracuse struggling on 3rd down in this game. 60% conversion coming in tonight. Just 2 of 9 this evening.
Shotgun. Michigan dropping back. Prevent. Nunes in trouble. Sidesteps. And then taken down at the 1. Boy, nearly got hit and put down for another safety. James Hall led the charge for the Wolverines.
Here's a guy who's used to making sacks. Last year, he had a streak of 5 games lined up over Banowitz, the left tackle. Gets good push with his inside hands and then continues the rush up the field. Nunes very lucky to get out of the end zone. His forward progress takes him to the 2, or that would have been the 2nd safety tonight on the young quarterback.
Tip of the hat to Hall, who just became the 5th player in Michigan history to reach 20 career sacks. Marcus Knight should give Michigan tremendous field position here late. Stumbles and falls past the 30 up to the 29. So Michigan will have it there with 5:42 remaining. Well, Friday, it's Now and Again. It's the X-Files meets the $6 Million Man. Now and Again, series premiere this Friday right here on CBS, America's most watched network.
When you move back in your own territory and you don't get positive yards, this is what happens. way too short of a field. Drew Henson back in at quarterback for Michigan.
How many times can you ask Syracuse defense just to hold the line? Anthony Thomas upended, but flags are down. McIntosh, the strong safety, right there to make the hit.
A tough spot for this Syracuse defense. They played a great ball game, even better here in the second half than the first. Another penalty deep in their own territory. Paul wants to know who was lined up offsides.
Well, that's 3 straight penalties. That's 3 straight flags. 2 on the last offensive set, and now here on the defensive end.
If I'm an official, I really don't want to go over and talk to that man. Penalties, 89 yards of penalties tonight on Syracuse. They've kept themselves in the game with great defense, but all of those penalties start to add up now.
The crowd, though, continues to show support on 1st and 5. Michigan gives it to Anthony Thomas. And the big load is taken down by 5 orange helmets. Let's take you back to our New York studios, and here's Tim Brando.
Craig and Ed, whatever happened to the Desert Swarm defense, and is the Pac-10 disappointing or what? Stanford's happy, though. Kerry Carter, an 8-yard touchdown run. Remember, Texas blew out Stanford. Stanford right now blowing out Zona, 24-7 in the second.
Stanford picked by most to be dead last in the Pac-10, whooping up on the team that was supposed to be Pac-10 champions.
Pitch, Anthony Thomas. He was able to slide out of a tackle by McIntosh, but again, that swarming Syracuse defense with downline pursuit. Tie him up. Drops him at the 23.
But we were just talking about penalties a minute ago. Michigan very lucky. Aaron Shea, the fullback, is going to be blocking one-on-one with McIntosh. That's 2-point takedown, Craig. I don't know how the official on the outside could not see that. McIntosh had position, and he was hog-tied by Shea.
Crowd now on their feet again. It gets loud on that end zone. And a timeout called Syracuse. We'll be back. Here, especially in the second half defensively, when they're in trouble on their own side of the ball, on their side of the ball on the field, they've stood up and held Michigan. They need one more right here.
Yeah, Chris Rippon, the defensive coordinator, Paul Pasqualoni, have to be very happy with their defense being put in bad positions all night and holding this Michigan offense to really 13 points without the safety.
Play fake. It's a quarterback keep. Henson did a great job down to the 15.
This play really set up because of the blocking on the edge by the Michigan offensive line. Maurice Williams, the tight end over there, is 86 for Michigan. And Maurice Williams did a good job of keeping Dinkins inside so that Henson could get the corner and the first down.
Boy, give Henson some credit. He hit that ball on his off hip and made the big turn and left Syracuse standing back in the dust. First down, Michigan. 4 minutes on the clock, 4th quarter. They're going to pitch it to Anthony Thomas. He cannot get outside and has not been able to all night long. And he took a shot right in the numbers.
Yeah, there's our man, Keith Bullock. This is a good-looking middle linebacker Syracuse has. Bullock listed at 6'3", 230. When you meet him, he's an imposing figure for a linebacker. A senior. Says he has that chip on his shoulder. We don't get enough respect around here. That time, great pursuit from the inside out. Was strung out, got a nice shot on Anthony Thomas.
And then you talk about the chip. That chip being ranked in the top 25 preseason poll. And right now, they've gotten plenty of votes. A win tonight would vault them, I'm sure, into the top 20, way beyond the top 25. Big fella, Evan Coleman. The backup to Aaron Shea at fullback. It was right there in the breadbasket, but came right out.
And that's a shame because Drew Henson had his struggles through the end of the 3rd quarter, beginning of the 4th. That time makes a nice throw to Evan Coleman right in his hands. Coleman unable to convert, and he had the edge. If he catches that and turns the corner, I don't think Syracuse gets it.
3rd down and 8.
Here comes the people dressed in orange. Unfortunately, the Michigan fans way on the other side of the field. They can't help their team out down there.
I'll tell you what, they have trouble getting this ball off. Yep. They're going to have to call, Henson has to call a timeout. He was down to 2 seconds on the play clock.
And as we come to the end of the half, both teams have burned 2 timeouts. Michigan up 2.
Michigan by 2. 3:51 to go. And any timeouts remaining, you mentioned, as it went to break, they burned 2. 1 remaining for each, Michigan and Syracuse. 3rd down. And another opportunity for Syracuse to stand tall. Henson fires a dart, incomplete. They had Terrell open around the 1-yard line, but it was a bit short, and that brings up 4th down.
Michigan playing it safe. They only had 2 receivers out in the route, and Shea, the fullback. So Syracuse able to double cover both wide receivers, because Michigan very worried about the pass rush of Syracuse. Every 3rd and long tonight, Syracuse has gotten to the quarterback. Jeff Delverne, great story, given the scholarship last Tuesday before Rice. Big kick for him.
Former walk-on, had 3 field goals made last week against Rice. Here's a big one. 31 yards and good. And that pushes the lead to 18-13. But a lot of time left at the Dome at Syracuse. 31 yards. We'll be back here on CBS.
Talked about Jeff Delverne earlier. 3rd straight game for the sophomore kicker with 10 straight points. He got his scholarship. He ran in to call his parents. They weren't home. His dad, a diehard Michigan fan. They weren't home. He got the answer machine. He said, "Mom, Dad, it's Jeff. Got a scholarship. Bye." That's all he said. He said, "I tried to play it as low-key as possible."
He played it low-key. Madi Williams back in. You look at his numbers, 5 of 7 for 82 yards and a touchdown. He's got 3:32 on the clock. Syracuse down by 5. They do the play fake. Sidesteps trouble. Throws. Hooks it. He's got his man. Malik Campbell down the sideline and is cut down at the 33. Campbell, a sophomore from Buffalo.
And what a great story Malik Campbell is. He led her 2 years in a row as a freshman and sophomore. As a basketball player at Syracuse, decided to come out for the football team. Made his first start last week against Central Michigan. They say this guy has incredible potential. 6'3", 180 pounds. Great speed. And Madi Williams, the more athletic of the 2 quarterbacks, they roll the pocket, gets away from Josh Williams, fires that ball right on the money.
1st and 10, Syracuse at the Michigan 33. Williams rolling right, tops, look at the speed. Steps out of bounds, stops the clock at the 27, and Dhani Jones, he's got speed, able to chase him out.
He's got to learn how to put the brakes on over on the sidelines. Tiny sidelines over here at Syracuse.
We talked to Madi Williams a couple of days ago. Look at the guns on this kid. I'd say he's been in the weight room. He has a great attitude because, again, of the shared time he's had to show with Troy Nunes.
When he came into our meeting, he had his sleeves right. He's real proud of those arms. He had the sleeves rolled up. Kind of looked like a linebacker when he came walking in.
6'2", 202. Runs like the wind, only a sophomore. From the eye. Hand off, deep run. Stickers, breaks it down the sideline and out of bounds at the 15. Tommy Hendricks, the strong safety, got the angle on D. Brown and worked him out of bounds.
Now, when we talked to George DeLeon, the offensive coordinator, he talked about his offense as a menu. We have a huge menu of plays here at Syracuse, more than anybody in the country. Look at this drive. They've had play-action pass. They've had dropbacks. That was a draw play. This is something Paul Pasqualoni requires of his players. Come here, you got to learn a lot of offense.
Longest run of the night by Brown, 13 yards. 1st and 10, Syracuse. Brown, this time nothing fancy. Straight up, runs behind Bowen, his center, and Joseph Burton, his right guard.
Now you've got to start thinking clock management. If you're Michigan, you've got to start thinking about stopping the clock. But with only 1 timeout, very difficult to do that. Syracuse, on the other hand, you want to eat some clock. But, Craig, you just have to get it in the end zone. I know you want to eat some clock, but really the only thing that matters right now for Syracuse is get 6 on the board.
Nick Sedano checks in at the fullback spot, number 35, D. Brown, the tailback. Woodcock in motion, 2nd down and 8. Williams looks, showing for the end zone, and he throws it out of bounds. Smart move. Medee Williams had no place to go. Back there around the area was Spotwood.
And remember, earlier we saw Drew Henson try to throw a ball away, and Ian McIntosh was able to pick it off because Henson didn't get enough air on it. That time, Williams, very wisely, out of the back of the end zone. Spotwood over there, but nobody had a chance at that one.
That brings up 3rd down and 8. In the red zone tonight, at 2 of 2 for Syracuse. They've come away with 2 touchdowns.
Well, they'll have 2 plays here. They will go for it on 4th if they don't make it here to make it 3 of 3 tonight.
Woodcock is in the slot from the shotgun. Movement up top, and there's flags. I believe it's Banowitz, 59. He took one of those quick, trying to get his edge. Looked like the left foot hitched a little bit.
And Banowitz went right into the center. Bowen, little disagreement on what the snap count was. No question.
5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage.
No question. Banowitz thinking it's on 1. The center thinking it's on 2. Got kind of loud down there. Banowitz, no question he was early on it, but it looked like he thought the call was on 1. They're resetting the clock to 2:20 because no play happened on the dead ball foul.
Boy, 12 flags against Syracuse, 94 yards. Banowitz, a great story. They call him the body. The body by Banowitz. He's the new breed of left tackle.
Big guy, 6'6", 290, but looks bigger. He's got that big bone structure. But it's interesting, Syracuse players, while they were huddling, trying to get the crowd to quiet down, and there is a nice hush over the crowd right now.
3rd down and 13. Medee Williams fires sideline. Campbell spins out a tackle to the 8.
You want to talk about a lively arm. There were a lot of Wolverines in the area of Campbell, and Medee Williams fires that thing in, and Syracuse is going to take their final timeout, and Pasqualoni wants to talk about this 4th down.
18-13 Michigan. We'll be back. Buckle up. 2:08 remaining here at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, Michigan. 18-13 over Syracuse. Timeouts remaining. Syracuse said, as you mentioned, burning their last one. Michigan still with 1. Syracuse faced with a 4th and call it 4.
They're in a good position here, Craig. 4 yards for the first down, 9 yards for the touchdown. An athletic quarterback in Medee Williams, who's played brilliant tonight. Move him around a little bit, use his athleticism, a run-pass option, something like that, possibly to the wide side of the field so that you have a lot of time for him to move around.
Spotwood in motion. 4th and 4. Williams rolls near side. Looking, fires, throws. Woodcock contact in the end zone. Incomplete. No flag.
James Whitley got away. Got called for holding earlier in the game. And from the angle up here, it looked like he might have got away with it again. Hall applying the pressure. Good job by him making Medee Williams. And it looked like Whitley might have been on the back a little early on that play. Woodcock lined up all the way across the field. Gets a little bit of separation, continuing his pattern. Oh, so close, yet so far. This game far from over, though, Craig. Lloyd Carr knows that. His offense has got to move the ball.
Michigan with the 1 timeout. Right now, they're just going to sit on it, let the clock run.
I apologize. I forgot that Syracuse was out of timeouts. A big deal. We talked about those timeouts. None saved for the end of the 4th quarter with young teams like Paul Pasqualoni and Lloyd Carr have. Sometimes you have to burn those timeouts before the end of the game or the half.
Had a tremendous football game here tonight. Michigan will open up next week. Big Ten opener at Wisconsin, while Syracuse will be back here as West Virginia comes to the Carrier Dome. See that game here on CBS. 2nd down, clock running, 1:20 on a knee. I'll bring up 3rd down. And Syracuse cannot stop the clock.
It's the right play call by Syracuse. Getting Medee Williams out on the edge, the wide side of the field. They had Spotwood in the backfield. They brought him in motion to the wide side, brought Woodcock all the way from the other side, had the tight end in the route as well. And it's 11:33. Coach Pasqualoni said, I will know a lot about my team by 11:30. Well, he had to wait 3 more minutes. I know it's a tough loss, Coach, but your team came out, played very hard, excellent on defense. Your offense showed some promise in the second half. I think he has a lot of answers right now.
Michigan takes another knee. That's going to do it. Clock is running down to 26, 4th down. And the Michigan contingent here yelling and celebrating in the corner here at the Carrier Dome. 3-0 goes Michigan. And oh, it was a tough battle on the road.
Paul Pasqualoni very disappointed in the loss. But he's got to be proud about how this young Orangeman team came in here and played. A lot of true freshmen playing for Coach Pasqualoni. Lost a lot of offensive firepower. The offense gelled in the second half, but the defense, man, did they play big tonight.
So for Ed Cunningham, this is Craig Bullerjack saying so long from the Carrier Dome with a final score and a thriller. Michigan over Syracuse 18-13. Tomorrow it's the NFL on CBS. Doubleheader action, and it all begins with the NFL Today. Check your local listing for the game in your area.